Hello, welcome back to the Ghana Agenda. Again, today is August 21st, 2021. And today we have a packed show for you. We'll be joined by our regular panelist. I think I can already see Dr. Ato coming in the studio, but we'll also be joined by Paul Disosu of the NDC, Efa Amayao of MPP, Dr. Lawrence of NDC, and also Mr. Lifetime Legacy, if he's available to join us. So it's going to be a great discussion today. Today we are talking about three things. We'll be talking about the Agenda 111, the plan to build 111 hospitals in Ghana. And we want to assess how this plan would impact delivery and accessibility of healthcare to the Ghanaian. And in fact, what does it really mean to say we are delivering 111 hospitals? How soon? How quickly? How much is involved? We would ask all these questions to see if we can get to some understanding. Also, we'll be talking about Tema Motorway upgrade. You know, the Tema Motorway has been built for years now, and this project needs an upgrade. At the time that the motorway was built, of course, we were about 5 million people, and Ghana has so far multiplied about 6 times. So we've grown about 6 times the size we were when Tema Motorway was built. And it's time to upgrade it. Contract has been, solicited, and proposals were received. A contractor was chosen. Now, we want to know whether this particular contract, whether it should actually be something we keep within the Ghanaian contracting community, or it's something we should have, awarded to a foreign contractor. So that will be the question we try to answer as far as the Tema Motorway is concerned. And then we'll go to Asin North and Jomoro in the Western region to look at the two members of parliament who have to deal with the Article 94 prohibition that says if you have an allegiance to a country other than Ghana, then you are not qualified to serve in parliament. We know two MPs are currently going through the court process. We'll be interrogating that. But I'll take a quick break. When I return, I have two guests in the studio already. I have Dr. Lawrence, I can see in the green room. I can also see Ato in the green room. I'll bring them in as soon as we return. All right, welcome back to the show. Like I said, that's Dr. Ato who's just joining me. Dr. Ato, welcome to the show, and I hope you're having a great Saturday morning. Today we are going to be having a lot of great conversations. But before we do that, how are things going on in Chicago? And if you can tell us some quick preliminary words as I bring the rest of our guests on.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. As always, it's a pleasure coming over here discussing the issues to help our country. Chicago has been really hot in the past couple of days, so I know that IFA is probably in with his AC will on, but it's been fun. We have a lot of Ghanaians over here, so we can get together and have fun, and then move on in life. So, my regards to all the panelists that you have, co-panelists you have today.
All right, great. So that's Dr. Ato. I think we also have Dr. Lawrence. So let me bring the Dr. Lawrence in. Dr. Lawrence, welcome to the show. And Dr. Lawrence, are you actually in the DC area? And if so, I know it's hot out here. I'm sweating. How is everything with you today? And if you can tell us a few words before we get into the program.
Yeah, you are right. I am in the DC area. As a matter of fact, I am in Virginia, and in Alexandria, to be precise. The weather is hot over here too. I just came out from outside, and as a matter of fact, it's been very hot over here. In fact, for the past 2, 3, maybe for the past 1 week, it's been very hot, and so that is what we have. I mean, American weather is what it is. You can't change it. It's cold in the evening sometimes, and then it's very, very, very hot in the afternoon. But I want to take this opportunity to greet my co-panelists as well, and greet the president of the former president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and his wife Lodina, and all the NDC guys who have taken their time to listen to us on this show today. I hope it's going to be a very productive show, because I think we are going to touch on very, very important topics that are going to help the development of the country. And I look forward to the very nice debate that we are going to have here. No propaganda, please.
You're on mute.
Yeah, so no propaganda. Thanks for that. That's a good tone to start the show with today. I'm also joined today by Efa Amayao, who is representing the MPP. Mr. Efa, welcome to the show. How is the weather today in Chicago? I know Dr. Ato already gave us a hint, but how are you? What are you dealing with at your place? And if you can give us a quick introductory words before we jump into the show. I think you were on mute. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Amuzu, Alfred, for the opportunity. I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to come and contribute to development of the country. The weather out here is very hot, and that's good news. Today we are here to share our views on what we think is the way forward for our country as far as health and other topics that have been slated is concerned. And I want to say hi to Dr. Lawrence and hi to Dr. Ato for joining us. It's always an opportunity for us to come and share opinion. Let's come here, debate, and chart a path for the development of our country. And I hope to do my best. Thank you. I want to say hi to the listeners, and I will say that if anybody comes on the show, share and contribute to whatever you think are the facts out there, are the truths out there, what opinions we all can gather so that we can make this program the best one out there. And we also provide ideas towards the development of the country. Thank you.
All right, thanks for those good words, and it sets the tone again for the program. Let me also bring in Lifetime Legacy, who has been with us for the past 3 weeks. Lifetime Legacy, welcome back to the show. Quick words for the listeners and viewers before we jump into the conversations. Lifetime.
Thank you so much, my brother and other friends. Sorry for joining in late. I went to do some workout. I just got in. So I look forward that we have a healthy conversation this afternoon, a conversation that will be to the interest of our country, not of our party. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we are currently being watched by about 73 people. Please share the link if you're watching us so others can join the conversation as well. And we will take your comments or your participation by going to the bottom of our Facebook link or YouTube. We are on ACO Radio, Facebook and YouTube. We are on Ghana Agenda, Facebook, YouTube. We are on Trend Africa's Facebook. Please make your comments. And we will read them out as the conversations go on. While you're making your comment also, please remember to subscribe so that anytime we come on, you can be notified of the program and join. Share the link so others can join as well. Our numbers are growing and we appreciate all that you do to continue to popularize this program. Okay, so without much ado, the topics we've tabled for discussion today are one, the Agenda 111. I keep saying the Ghana Agenda just because, there's that coincidence between the name of the program and our program as well. So Agenda 111, it's a plan to build 111 hospitals. Would also tackle Tema Motorway, which is, has, outlived its years. Of course, it was built when we had about only 5 million people. Now Ghana is about 31, going to 32 million citizens. And so we've grown about 6 times bigger. Also, the Article 94 issues at the 2 constituencies that are currently having MPs who are in courts fighting for their seats. We will look at that as well. So let me start with the first one. And in that case, I think I would prefer Afa to start for us. Afa, so the first thing I wanted to ask you is about the Ghana the Agenda 111. And my question about that is, our government decides that somewhere in 2020 that we are going to build 100 and it started from 108. It started from 88, then we came to 108, and now we are at 111 new hospitals, or upgrading some of the current ones. But the plan is to actually work on that number of new hospitals. People are asking, where are we getting the money for this? How long is this project going to take to be implemented? We've seen some designs. So can you help us by walking us through, since you're on the government side, by walking us through what this program entails? How long is it going to take to execute? And where are we getting the money for the project? I thought that's up to you.
Thank you very much, Alfred, for the opportunity. And so the Agenda 111 idea came about because there are shortfalls in our infrastructure. These shortfalls, we cannot pay lip service to it, right? So the initial thinking was when the president announced the 88. Now, so the 88 later on, when they were doing the details of land acquisition and all that, and subsequent meetings, they realized that there was the need for us to add more. So the 88 is actually covering 88 districts that have no hospitals at all. We have some districts with hospitals, but 88 districts have no hospitals at all. So that is where the 88 is coming from. Now, you realize that we have also created 6 regions, right? So of the 6 regions, it is important that they get regional hospitals. So there will be 6 regional hospitals. Now, there will be 1 additional hospital in the Western region, because the health, the Ghana Health Services and all that matters in the health delivery in Ghana advise the government that Western region, because of its strategic location, there will be the need for 1 more additional hospitals. So, and then you also realize that when it comes to mental health, right, our mental health treatment concentration is all in the southern part of the country. So it doesn't make health sense that somebody gets sick. Around Techiman or Jima, where I am, if somebody is mentally not stable and the person needs to be hospitalized, that we have to bring the person all the way to Ankafo or Accra Psychiatric Hospital or Pantai, these are all concentrated in the south. So it has become necessary to add more. It would be better if we have 1 in each country, in each region, right? But if we are not doing that, then we have to strategically locate some of these hospitals in such a way that they will take care of these special needs in the country. The population is growing, and we cannot expect these hospitals to take care of our mental health needs. So that is also in the pipeline. And another thing is that Accra Psychiatric Hospital need new facilities, because, we've advanced, and most of these equipments and advancement in treatment and way of dealing with these issues inform us that, we need to upgrade some of these facilities that we have over there. So that one has also been added to the number. So together, if you tally, that is where we have the 111. It is not 111 in addition to the 88. No, it is not. It is the 88 that has been upgraded to the 111. This is significant. This is important. This is infrastructure that at the end of the day, when we are able to do will upgrade our health needs will bring employment not only in the health sector, but other things that will be added on as far as employment and as far as operating these facilities are concerned.
Right.
Ghanaians need these. It is important that we realize that if we don't provide some of these interventions, that some people will not be able to access some of these things, or even if they are accessing it, there's this huge difficulty in accessing it in other parts of the country. So it is a welcome news. It is great news, and we all have to accept and contribute our quota towards making this a reality.
Right.
Now, at this point, what is important is that it is in two phases. The first phase is the acquisition and the contractors, and getting them to start. So that has been done for the 88. So we've identified of the 88 districts that the president cuts order trader to begin. So we've gotten the lands, 15 acres at least each. That was what the committee implementing the program said. 15 acres each. The reason is that we shouldn't only think about today, we should think about expansion. So when it becomes necessary to expand, then it is not right now that we're going to go look for land somewhere to do these things, right? Now, you realize that land has become a challenge in the country, especially in Accra and the big cities, right? That it is difficult to get land to do so many things. So once you have this vision, you have these facilities to provide for the good people of Ghana, that we think of expansion in the future. So that is also so at least 15 acres each. Now, the district hospitals will take 12 months. That is what the projection has been. That's what the consultancy and all these things were, that within 12 months, we should be able to have finished with the district hospitals. Now, the specialized and the regional ones will go to 18 months. So within the next 18 months, we should see these things popping up, especially the ones that sword had been cut. With the others that the sword cutting ceremony hasn't taken place, there's still negotiation is still ongoing as far as land acquisition and getting specialized people to do that is concerned. So for me, this is a welcome news. We all have to contribute to it. The sword ceremony has taken place. The next thing is the construction stage and all these things. The government has informed us that we have $100 million in place to start, for which they've started with this consultation and gathering all these people. So there's a little bit of money to start, and as time goes on, government will be pumping in money into the project. It is good. Now, one thing that we have to know is that we are informed that not only is it important for Ghana, right? But we also have to look at the fact that if you are able to do this, then, and able to make it affordable, that people will be coming into Ghana to access health, right. And we are capable. We can do it. I'm one of the guys that believe that the Ghanaian can do some of these things. So we should trust in our ability to do it. I was happy when the committee and the government agreed that at least for the district hospitals, it will go to Ghanaians, so that we'll demonstrate our ability to, also provide them, build our local capacity in terms of these areas, so that it will create employment for our people and the money will be revolving within ourselves. So it's good. Yeah. Now, the last point I want to make is that the projection is that West Africa will be hitting the $500 million mark in the next 30 years, right? So this is important. A whole lot of things come in. The countries that are not able to take care of themselves as far as health is concerned will be relying on Ghana if you are able to do this, right? And that will mean more money into the country, and other businesses can take advantage of that. So this is good, and we all must support. Now, the other argument that comes in is that there are existing hospitals that we've not completed, but we're leaving them and going here. That is not true. If there is any existing hospital that is not completed, maybe the financing is a challenge, right? So government is looking at how do we find the money to finance it. But for all the other projects that, doesn't have any issue, it is ongoing, talk of, and most of them have even been completed. And as we get the time, we can take some of these things one by one, and we can talk about the ones that have been completed, the ones that are still ongoing and stuff like that. But the ones that come into mind, University of Ghana Medical Center, first phase is completed in 2017, and then the second phase is ongoing. And Wa Regional Hospital has been handed over. Aferi is ongoing. Sewua is ongoing. Ghana East has been handed over, and it is in use. So all these hospitals, government is tackling them. But in addition to that, we need more. And this is why the government said, there are some places they don't have it. We can talk of providing them the CHIP compounds, but the CHIP compounds have a limitation as far as what they can do in the health sector is concerned. Then you come to, the regional, the district hospitals. They also may have some challenges as far as delivery is concerned.
Yeah. So let me ask.
Yeah.
How long?
You saying something?
Yeah, I'm saying, how long would it take to actually execute this as a project? Because some are saying, it will be done in 18 months, and whether we would be getting the entire 111 in 18 months, we don't know. So do you have an idea how long it would take to execute, and how much is this going to cost us? If you can give us those quick those two informations very quickly, and then I can bring all this in. I think that would be good.
Yeah, so like I said, the district hospitals will take 12 months to complete. The district hospitals, that is what the estimation is. And then the regional and specialized hospitals will take between 18 months to 2 years to complete them. So that is what it is. Now, for a start, the district hospitals, the estimation is each is going to cost us 17 million, right? And then the regional and specialized ones will cost more. So government has already budgeted 100 million for that they're doing. And as time goes on, government would add on to it. If there is a need to, the additions will come from the budget, government will let us know. If government is going to seek funding from other sources, government will let us know. So at least we have 600 million Ghana cedis to start, right? To kickstart.
Right.
And government, as has always been the case, will be looking for the money to finish this project. It is within, if it is the case that it is expanding outside the time limit of this government, then we will say we're going to have a challenge. But government want to do it within the period that is still in power, right? So that we're not going to say this is something to do with political propaganda and blah, blah, blah. So we should all follow this through and see where we get to at each stage of it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me bring in Dr. Lawrence on this one. Dr. Lawrence, FI is telling us that, this thing is going to cost us, the district wants to cost us 17 million, and it's going to take 12 to 18 months to complete. All this, and then if you look into the ministry's annual program of work, it appears that $600,000 have been 600 million has been allocated towards this Agenda 111. And this amount was actually requested as part of last year's or 2020's mid-year review. In fact, the budget was for about $6.5 million, but the minister came back, or when the first minister went back to Parliament to ask for additional funding in 2020, he asked for 2.25 billion, and out of that, 600 million was allocated specifically for Agenda 111. But beyond that, and that funding has actually even appeared in the 2021 mid-year review, which, questions are coming up as to the fact that we already have that amount of money allocated, but nothing happened. But if we recall, that money was added way back in the mid-year review of 2020. So, are you satisfied that, we have enough money since we already have 600 million and they are telling us that it's only going to take 17 million to construct one of each district hospital. Are you satisfied with that figure? And are you confident from where you sit that these hospitals will be delivered within 12 to 17 months? And, in about 2023 or so, we should at least have about 88 hospitals to increase access to our people as far as healthcare is concerned.
Yeah, Alfred, let me take this opportunity to greet our listeners one more time.
Okay.
Let me correct the MPP communicator, who is Kakape. I mean, there is nowhere since this agenda 111 came up, there is nowhere that anybody has said the project, any of the hospitals will be completed in 12 months. Nowhere. It was the Minister for Information who came to tell us before the symbolic commissioning. It was the Minister for Information who told us that the project will be completed, each hospital will be completed within 18 months, depending on the day or the date they cut the sword. So, in other words, he was telling us that all the hospitals will not be built from the 17th of August and be completed in 18 months. But he was saying some will be the commission, the cutting of sword, some will be done in September of this year, some will be done in October of this year, some will be done in November of this year, some will be done in December of this year, some will be done in January of this year. But the date and the day that they will cut the sword, that is when Ghanaians should start counting the 18 months. So there's nowhere anybody has said that any of the hospitals will be completed in 12 months. Now, when Nana Akufo-Addo was symbolically cutting the sword at Rede, he said specifically, and if you have the tape, you can play it. He said that day, 17th of August, that he was symbolically cutting the sword at Rede. All the other districts are cutting the sword on that day, and they will all be completed in 18 months. So you can see the contradiction between what the president said and what the Minister of Information said. And that is why there is confusion out there. Because Ghanaians don't know when actually they should start counting the 18 months. The Minister for Information said some can be started in December of this year, so you should start counting the 18 months from December of this year. Nana Akufo-Addo on 17th of August told us that as he was symbolically cutting the sword in Trede, all the other districts are also cutting swords. So all of them will be completed in 18 months. No mention of 12 months. So that is the problem. And that is why people are confused as to even whether to believe this government or not. Now, let me go to my presentation. You see, during the symbolic sword cutting, there was this chief who represented the Otumfo Asantehene, Nana Osei-Tutu II. And am I being listened to?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, all right. So there is this chief who came to represent. This is good. Now I can see my face well. There is this chief who came and represented the Asantehene Otumfo Osei-Tutu II. And this is what he has to say to the people of Ghana and to the president of Ghana. He told the president that people are doubting that he can deliver this thing that he is talking about, that he's going to build 111 hospitals in 18 months. People are doubting it. And the reason why people are doubting it is because there are some hospitals in some districts that are still left in the bush since the last government. And he specifically mentioned Kumawu. He mentioned Aferi. And then he mentioned Fomina. He said the last government was building these district hospitals at these places, but for 5 years now, they have been left in the bush. And if the president cannot build, or not even build, if the president cannot finish 3 hospitals,
Right.
how should Ghanaians believe that he can do 111 hospitals? Not within 3 years, but within 18 months, 1.5 years.
Mhm.
And then he said on social media, people are debating that the project is going to cost $1.87 billion, not cedis, dollars. But the government has been able to acquire a meager amount of $100 million. So it is being debated on social media that $100 million is so little to start a huge project that is going to cost almost $2 billion. So that is a debate that the people are debating on social media. And he reminded the president that Ghanaians vote based on hunger and anger.
Right.
The chief reminded the president that Ghanaians vote based on hunger and anger. So he would wish that the president should deliver the 111 hospitals in 18 months so that the hunger and the anger of Ghanaians will not be on him. So at the end of the day, he conveyed the blessings of Otumfuo Osei-Tutu to the president and wished him well. This is what the chief who represented Otumfuo gave his speech to, on the symbolic curtain of the soul for the 111 district. Now, let me break them down for you. Now, the chief mentioned money, that he said 100 million cannot be an amount to start a 2 billion project. That was what the chief was trying to tell the president, that you cannot get up from Accra and come and tell us nonsense, that you are coming to build a 2 billion project and then starting with $100 million. Meager, nothing, ant. It is just an ant. It is just like throwing a stone at the foot or at the back of an elephant. Nothing. And this $100 million, your friends, and dollars that we are talking about was taken from, okay, I'll come to that. Was taken from the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund. And Alfred, let me tell you one more thing. The Minister for Information told us that they are not going to borrow any money from outside to finance this project. It is going to be internally generated. So if there is an amount in the Infrastructure Development Fund and they've been able to go and take 100 million out of it, it means that is all that they have in the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund. That is all they have in there. And they said they are not going to borrow any money. It's going to be internally generated.
Yeah.
So people are asking, where is the money coming from? And Alfred, as I speak to you today, the president does not know where the $1.77 billion is going to come from. The president doesn't know. He has no idea, because if he has, he would have put it when he was cutting the salt. He would have told the Ghanaians, because anywhere he cuts salt, he tells the people where he got the money from.
Okay.
Or he tells the people where the money was coming from. We remember
so I get it that you are not confident that we are going to have the money to build the 111 hospitals, and also that the time frame being quoted is not realistic. That's what I'm getting from you.
Both. And that is not all, Alfred. Let me just land, or let me continue.
Okay.
I have just talked about the money issue. The money, the $100 million is a mega money. It is just like, hitting the elephant with a little stone. The Minister for Information has told us that they are not going to borrow any money, and that is going to be internally generated. The internally generated money is going to come from the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund, which they've already taken 100 million out of it, and that is all they have in there. And as I'm speaking to you today, the president does not know where the $1.77 billion is going to come from. That is,
but the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund or Investment Fund is supposed to be a sovereign fund, right? Which means it's supposed to be a way for us to raise money from citizens or people outside interested in investing in infrastructure development in Ghana to put those monies forward towards projects that we are going to be doing.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you think that the president has a plan somewhere to get these investments flowing into the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund?
Alfred, let me tell you, if the president gets $2 billion right now, he would rather invest in the cathedral than these hospitals. I tell you, if any money should flow into the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund for anything, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, would rather invest those monies into the cathedral than these hospitals. Let's not run away from that fact.
Right.
Now, let me talk about land. The president said, and which is the information minister said, and the president confirmed that they need 111 15-acre land. Now they have 87 15-acre land, which means they have a shortfall or a deficit of 24 lands. Now, out of these 87 lands that they even have, almost half of it are not in complete hands of the government due to customs and traditions. Out of the 87 that they've said they've even raised or gotten, almost half of it are not in total control of the government. The chiefs are demanding something. Your friend is saying, Odikro or Abusia Penny are demanding something. I mean, there is something that somebody is demanding. So when you look at the lands that they are even looking for, 111 lands, and they have, let's say they have even 87, that should tell you right there that these people cannot build 111 district hospitals within 8 days. They can't. It's impossible. It is just impossible.
So talking about impossible, you would hear about saying that everything they try to do, even free SHS, the NDC comes and says it's impossible. They've proposed programs that the NDC, will come and say these programs are impossible, but they are achieving those programs. They talk about digitization. NDC says it's impossible, and they are talking about 111 hospitals. Now the NDC is again saying it's impossible, and I could just hear you say again that it's impossible for them to build these hospitals because they have some issues getting the lands and funding sources and etc. Is the NDC
I haven't finished talking about my challenges. So when you come in with questions, then you are, debating.
I'm throwing you off. Okay, I just want to kind of have you answer those along as you continue with the presentation.
Yeah, but as I continue with my presentation, please, I beg you, don't bring Baumia's name in it because I don't recognize him.
Okay.
And I don't recognize anything he says. I mean, the free senior education that he's talking about, Alfred, would you send your child to free senior education in Ghana? Is Baumia's children a free senior education in Ghana? Baumia has children. Even if not with Samira, he has children that are, of age to be in the high school. Are they in the free senior school that he's talking about? So when I'm talking, don't bring that. You can bring Kakape, you can quote Kakape and let me debate Kakape, but don't bring Baumia because Kakape is far better than Baumia. Now, the health
right.
minister, I'm talking about challenges that, based on those challenges, I personally, Dr. Lawrence, think this government has created another myth. He can't do anything. Now, the health minister was telling us that they couldn't complete the district hospitals that they promised building because of the COVID-19. Now, Alfred, you and I know that in Ghana and almost most of the world, they are having a second and third wave of COVID-19, which they call it Delta something, that they say is even deadlier than COVID-19. So if COVID-19, which was even controllable and which was easily manageable, you couldn't complete district hospitals at Kumawu, district hospitals at Aferi, district hospitals at Fomina. And now we have a more deadly disease than this COVID-19, and then you come around and promise me 111 district hospitals. I mean, do you want me to believe you? All that they want to do is that 2024, they will come and tell us that COVID-19 or the Delta variants didn't, give them the opportunity to build this 111 hospitals. That is all that they are waiting for to tell us. That is all. And now the MPP communicators have started telling us that even if they build 6 hospitals, it's good. Even if they build 5 hospitals, it's good. That is why I wrote a very short this and that. When you listen to the MPP communicator defending this 111 agenda, it's like you are asking God why he created these damn people.
Oh my
because
God.
you are creating, you are telling us you would build 111, and then you turn around to tell me even if you build 5 is good. Why don't you tell me you build 5 then? But you are telling me you build 111. Now, finally, on the challenges, they said they are going to use $16.88 million for each hospital, which means whether the hospital is a district hospital, whether the hospital is a regional hospital, whether the hospital is a psychiatric hospital, they are going to use $16.88 million. And Alfred, you and I know that in Ghana, the land texture in Volta region is not the same as the land texture in Northern region. And it cannot be the same as the land texture in Eastern region or Greater Accra region. So the land texture alone and the designs are different in various regions and districts. So you can't use the same amount of money to prepare the land in Eastern region to prepare the same land in Greater Accra, Northern or Volta or whatever else. There will be more money going into one of them and less money going into one of them. So if you come and tell me that you are using $16.88 million across board, that tells me you are a 419 government. That tells me you are not serious. That tells me you haven't taken everything into consideration before coming to tell me it's $16.88 million. You haven't taken so many things into some consideration. And then when you start the project, that is when those, how do they call it? Those truths would hit your face. And that was exactly what the free senior education did to them. They didn't think through. They said they were just implementing a policy, and now it hit them hard. And then they came up with the green, blue, red light and all the nonsense. And finally, now they have to rely on PASCO to help this case, do whatever they have to do. They didn't think through. They didn't know teachers were not going to be available. They didn't know classrooms were not going to be available. They didn't know the children were going to overwhelm them with their friends and employment. I say employment. What did they? Admissions. They didn't know. They didn't think through. And this $16.88 million, they have not thought through. They don't know district hospitals should be different from a regional hospital. And they don't know a regional hospital should be different from a psychiatric hospital. And they are allocating $2 million or so for the equipment for each hospital across board. I mean, is this not insanity? Is this not insanity? I mean, come to think about it.
Mhm.
You see, so Alfred, if you want to see how this agenda 111 is going to end, just see how the one village, one dam ended.
Right.
Just see how the 2019 year of rose ended. Just see how the fight against Galamsey ended. Just see how the planting for food and jobs ended. Just see how Martin Amidu, as a special prosecutor, how his career ended as a special prosecutor. Just see how the free senior education is ending. Just see how the one district, one factory has ended. Just see how the $1 to one constituency has ended. Just see how the general hospital that they cut short, and over 1 year nobody has been there. Just see how the Eastern Regional Hospital that Nana Akufo-Addo went there and said, "I will build this hospital for the naysayers to be ashamed." Or maybe sit down way when he was commissioning, cutting short for the Eastern Regional Hospital in his own.
Right. Okay. Okay, I think we're having problem with your sound.
No, as somebody was calling, I've just dropped him. Just look at how the Shama District Hospital that the president called all the chiefs and people to the place, cut the sword, and for over 1 year, nobody has been there. Just look at how all these things have unfolded, and then you can convince yourself that you would agree with the chief who went to the sword cutting at Trede, that Ghanaians are doubting, and they have every right to doubt that this government cannot even build five hospitals. They can't. If they do, I will stop coming on your show.
All right. So there's Dr. Lawrence there. Dr. Lawrence is skeptical and does not think that the government is capable of building the 111 hospitals that we have on the Agenda 111. And he's citing an example of all kinds of programs that have failed under this government. And so, you can use that as a way to judge for yourself whether the government is going to be capable of, meeting, these ambitious plans that they've put out. I know Afar has some rebuttals on that, so I would give him that time. But before I do Afar, or before I go to Afar, let me bring in my neutral buddy here, Dr. Ato Kwamina. Dr. Ato, so you have listened to the two political, parties, Afar very optimistic, stating the price each of these hospitals will cost, the fact that land has been acquired, and the fact that some money has been set aside since the mid-year of 2020 towards this plan, 111 hospitals, and he's thinking that these hospitals will be built in 18 months and accessibility would increase as a result. But you've also heard the NDC's spokesperson in Dr. Lawrence debunking all that, saying that, we've had several different ambitious projects, including even the free SHS, that is facing all kinds of trouble, most of which is finance. There's a video making the speculations that even the secondary schools are threatening to close down because of lack of resources, funding to feed the kids while they are on campus. From where you sit, do you think this agenda 111 is going to happen, or do you think it's going to come into reality? This is going to be that in 18 months we'll actually see these buildings, because even the 600,000 so far has been used in drawing, doing architecture drawings, clearing lands, getting the preparations for this to take off. If you look at the annual program of work, which I've shared with you, it says that this year, because what we are, the sector itself, the health sector medium-term development plan shows that there was, of course, an update to it to include this 111 Agenda 111, and it shows that this year, which is the last leg of the 2018 to 2021 health sector medium-term development plan, it shows that this year we will only be coordinating plans towards implementation. So it doesn't categorically say that there will be any buildings this year. Do you think this is going to come to reality, or this is just telling us, and then they'll come back and say, you know, for one or two reasons they couldn't finish it all?
All right. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So on the face of it, because of what we've had in the past, regards to the 88 hospitals, everyone would be right to say that this is a joke. You told us about 88 hospitals, you were unable to build them. But then why come out and discuss the 111 hospitals? I mean, first of all, I listened to Ifa and I listened to Dr. Lawrence. And I must say, I take exception to some of the words or descriptions of Dr. Lawrence. I think our viewers will not be pleased with some of the choice of words he used, like calling NPP people dumb and calling this insane. But again, those are his words. Although I must concede that he made some really good points in his presentation. And I also know that he also made some really good points in the presentation. I mean, I don't know, Alfred, you know, I schooled in Ghana as a nurse trainee. And right now I have my doctorate degree in nursing. So I know a lot about healthcare in Ghana. Right now we have about 200 hospitals in Ghana. I remember I worked mostly in the northern part of Ghana, Chima to be specific. And I know the challenges. In Ghana right now, we have the doctor-to-patient ratio to be like about 1,000. So imagine, I'm just talking about the need for hospitals in Ghana.
Right.
Imagine. The hospital I worked at was a mission hospital. It was for the Catholic Church. So even in the Bunga have hospitals, I know of only one regional hospital. That is Sunyani Regional Hospital. So imagine that the whole of Ghana, or the whole of Brungahafu, we have only one regional hospital.
Right.
Hospitals were built by the Catholic Church or Presbyterian Church or the mission hospitals.
My
question is there a need for hospitals in Ghana? Yes. Currently, we are spending our GDP, we are spending, give me a second over here. I think 6.2% of our GDP towards healthcare in Ghana. So my point is, if we are increasing the hospitals in Ghana, then we will spending more money, or our GDP increases because of the activities in the country.
Right.
I mean, I think that having hospitals in Ghana, it is overdue, long overdue. I heard about the hospitals, the psychiatric hospitals in Ghana. It was amazing to me when I went to Ankafo in 2001, how Nkrumah built the Ankafo Hospital. There are three things in Ankafo. We have the psychiatric hospital, we have the leprosarium, and then we have the Ankafo prisons. Man, so you would think that since in Nkrumah's time, we have only one biggest psychiatric hospital in Ghana, that's in Ankafo. And the next one is in Pantai. So imagine that
we also have the Asalam Down, the one in Asalam Down, right?
That's the Pantai one, right? We have two.
The one in Asalam Down, is it called Pantai? No, it's just it's called when you go into the Holy Spirit Cathedral, there's a psychiatric hospital there, I remember, but I'm blanking on the name. But there's one in Accra Central that I'm aware of.
Okay, then I don't know of any bigger psychiatric hospital in Ghana. So my point is we have the need, and I was thinking that NDC as social democrats would even embrace this idea.
Right.
But however, the NDC is very pessimistic. And the MPP is rather optimistic about this project. I mean, even in regards to nurses, we are training so many nurses that we have so many of them sitting at home doing nothing. And we have the National Health Insurance, which increases the number of patients who are visiting the hospitals. So imagine, we have an increase in the volume of people visiting the hospitals, less hospitals. So the prudent thing to do is to build hospitals. But like I said, if you're telling me that you're going to build 88 hospitals in a year, and you didn't build not even one, but you're coming to tell me that you're going to build 111 hospitals, and then you want me to believe you. But if it was election time, then I'll say, these are the propaganda that they usually talk about. But this time they're in government. So what's the motivation to come and tell me you're going to build 111 hospitals? Just lie to me. I mean, that would not make any sense. But then I saw that this event, the president actually did a sword cutting. So there was a structure where the president actually let all Ghanaians know that, hey, I'm starting this. So I know the MPP is also aware of what Ghanaians are thinking about them. That if you're unable to deliver this in a specific time that you talk about, then you're a failure. But like I said, I would take 50% of the hospitals to be a success, because I see the need as a healthcare practitioner. I see the need that in Ghana, we need hospitals in Ghana. So I would not be pessimistic. And I would not use choice of words to describe people who are thinking that this hospital, say, is dumb or insane. No, I wouldn't use that, because I know the need. And working in hospitals in Ghana, I felt that, I mean, in Tachima Hospital, even if you're in the emergency room, you had like two people taking care of like 100 people. How is that possible? Some of us are over here just because we think the access to healthcare in our country is not good. And I wish that these hospitals that they're going to build, they're going to increase the infrastructure in Ghana so that some of us will feel comfortable going back home to help our people. That is really necessary. So in a nutshell, although it looks like a mirage, just because if you say you're going to build 88, you didn't build one, but you're saying 111, I am very optimistic that even if the government is even able to build 10 hospitals in addition to what we have in Ghana, I'll be very happy, because right now we have the mission hospitals. The government is actually paying mission hospitals salaries to help solve this issue. So that's my point on that.
So do you think the government should just be realistic with the people and promise something they can actually deliver, instead of the huge number they are mentioning, knowing that in our country it's first of all that the funding is not even available to do all that in one go, and so that you can square with the people instead of it almost sounds like the campaign season has begun, because you can also see Mahama on tours making comments, and perhaps the government's own rolling out of this plan, knowing that they wouldn't be able to deliver it all. It almost sounds like we're already in the campaign season. Do you think they should be real with the people?
I mean, the results will show. If you're unable to do it, then Ghanaians will know that you're taking us for a ride. And I know people are talking about, there are other hospitals there. We have other things that we have not done. I mean, we can work and chew gum at the same time.
Yep.
So I am, when it comes to healthcare, I am very, very, very optimistic that we have to do something about it. So like I said, the MPP brought the National Health Insurance Scheme. It brought about the free maternal healthcare in Ghana. So if he's talking about increasing hospitals in Ghana, I tend to believe them, because in the past they've done A, B, or C. But if you compare the NDC to MPP in regards to healthcare, I mean, they built hospitals. In Sunyani Hospital, I think it was built by the NDC. So I know
the University of Ghana, the
hospitals that yes. But in terms of policies that they have, I think right now the MPP is doing well in regards to coming about. Okay, let's build hospitals. It's not about policy, because the free SHS policy we criticize because we don't have the buildings. Now they talk about buildings, then we say it's not. So what do we want the MPP to do? They said we don't have buildings, but we're going to increase the number of people going to school. We say, why don't you build schools? Okay, and the MPP says, okay, now we're going to build hospitals. Like, why are you building hospitals? So sometimes the NDC comes across as not being a social democrat, but we're not thinking about other issues that are, I would say, comparative analysis. They try to compare.
I mean, they're saying this because there are projects, there are hospitals that are being built. Like the chief, who Dr. Lawrence was referring to, they're saying that there are hospitals that are not yet completed. So, why wouldn't you concentrate completing those ones before targeting, 111 new ones?
That is right. But I'm saying that if the government is only abandoning those projects and building new ones, then it wouldn't make any sense. There's no sense in abandoning projects and starting new
projects. Yeah.
I'm saying that the NDC talks about free SHS policy just because we don't have the infrastructure. In healthcare, is the opposite. Now we don't have infrastructure. We have increase in the access, increase in access to healthcare. We want to build more, and NDC is pessimistic about it. I'm like, it doesn't add up to me. If you talk about we don't have structures, but right now we have structures like you don't have the money to do. I would rather, as a healthcare professional, be optimistic that hey, let's see what they can do, and if they are unable to do it, let the end justify the means. If they're unable to do it, then we kick them out of the government. It's as simple as that.
Okay, all right. Let's bring in a Lifetime Legacy to also opine on that. Lifetime Legacy. I thought you saying that the NDC. What does the NDC want? You said that because of lack of buildings, schools, the free SHS wasn't going to work. Now they're trying to build hospitals, saying you're also complaining about those buildings. So Lifetime Legacy. Is it true what I thought is saying that the NDC actually has worst record on healthcare delivery or infrastructure versus the MPP?
Okay. Thank you, Alfred, and the listeners and my colleagues. Before I come to respond to the issue, I would like to correct my brother Ifa on some claim he made during his submission. It is not true that MPP came to complete Ridge Hospital and Legon Teaching Hospital. Those facilities were completed by John Mahama. The only thing that was not done was to let people go in to go and start work. Everything was set before Mahama handover or Mahama commissioned that project.
The Legon Hospital, the understanding was there was no power.
It is not true. It is not true. Joy FM is on record to have gone there after the claim made by the famous liar minister, health minister.
Yeah,
went there to find out that last week I mentioned on the show that the first lie he told.
we can talk about him without calling him a liar. We want to make sure we don't call or we don't use those adjectives on.
Okay, so if my brother, let me ask this question.
Right.
If we have standby 1000 kVI 2, okay, that could manage the facility in the place, and you come back and tell us that there is no standby generator, that is why the place is not being put to use. How should I describe you? We have those facilities, those very things he's saying that does not exist. We have them in place. Joy FM have gone there to do a full coverage on it. How do I describe him?
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that is just by the way. So it is not true that MPP came to completed Ridge Hospital. It is also not true that Legon Hospital was completed by MPP. And it is also not true that Maritime Hospital was completed by MPP. It is also not true that Bank of Ghana Hospital was completed by MPP. I want to set the record straight. My brother, Dr. Ato, also did mention that when it comes to health, NDC have a poor record. I challenge his claim. I'm saying this because when you go on record, NDC have an enviable record when it comes to building our hospitals. Okay? I want to throw this challenge to them. They should give me at least five hospitals, state-of-the-art hospitals built by MPP 1 and MPP 2 combined. But on top of my head, I've just mentioned Legon Hospital, Ridge Hospital, Maritime Hospital, Afari Military Hospital. I mean, the list is endless.
Right.
And also when you look at during this pandemic, most of the facilities that are housing or treating people are providing housing for treatment were all built by NDC. So it is not true that NDC have a bad record when it comes to health. But as the accounts say, NDC is not against national health insurance. In fact, NDC is on record to started implementing or piloting health insurance in the very hospital Dr. Ato mentioned. The record is there for us to see. So it is not true that the NDC have a bad record when it comes to this thing. Now, I lost my grandmom and my uncle in Ridge Hospital around 2004 and 2005. So I know the importance of hospital when it or health delivery or health infrastructure when in that regard. So I am not in any way suggesting that we don't need facilities or health hospitals. We need them, but we are questioning MPP, most especially Akufo-Addo, because of his record. That is the reason why it looks like he have been inconsistent with his own promises over the years. Okay, let me ask this question. We are all in the country where he appointed a CEO for Keta Harbor Development.
Okay.
That CEO was receiving salary every month. But what is the state of Keta Port over?
But we know it takes time. You know, it takes time to build a harbor.
For 5 years that he has appointed a CEO,
yeah,
paying him salary every month.
Yeah.
Nothing, not even a cement block have been sent to that site.
Yeah, but an assessment was done by the company. There's I don't know if it's a German company or it's a company. I think it's a German company who is doing the feasibility. They were the ones doing the Tema expansion, the Takrady expansions, et cetera, et cetera. And this company has done work around Africa and the rest of the world. And they've done an assessment, they've done the planning, and that has been provided to the ministry. So it just takes time, so we can conclude that they are paying people and nothing is happening.
For instance, it took 4 years, okay, for Mahama to do Tema Harbor expansion and Takrady Harbor expansion, just 4 years.
Yeah, but those are already existing structures, so expanding them is a lot easier than building a brand new port.
It doesn't matter. So if he intends to do that, they have been in government for 5 years. For at least, if we can see one single block at the side, we can say that he's making progress. So for these reasons, okay, if he comes back and tell us that he's going to do XYZ, we have every legitimate right to that what they are claiming. For instance, Afari Hospital, Formina District Hospital, Kumewu District Hospital. We have heard the chiefs from those locations several times complaining about the weeds taking place, growing in the uncompleted structure. We even had one of the chiefs who was so, I think it was Kumewu, who was so angry to the extent that he said that he's tired of organizing communal labor within the place. Okay, one regional hospital, everything was completed. The only thing that is needed is to move, equipment in, which the equipment were already purchased already, to move equipment in, and then let's put that place into use. 4 years, that has not been done. You see, so if NDC is questioning or is doubting the MPP or Nanado that this is going to be one of his rhetorics, we have a legitimate reason to say this. You get it? And moreover, for me, like I said,
you have a legitimate reason, and NDC is not just a party of impossibilities. That's what you're saying.
Like I've said in my initial comment, I said when it comes to health delivery, NDC have an enviable record. Okay, but the person we are talking about here,
shouldn't you be supporting any plan that wants to, increase the healthcare infrastructure?
Alfred,
since Alfred,
if I am in deep need of help, okay, and I come to you and I say, "Oh, Alfred, can you sort me out with $100 bill, and I'll make my refund it in a month's time," and then you gave me that $100 bill. If next time I am coming to ask 120, I will be highly optimistic that you'll be able to give me that 120 because you were forthright with me when I asked you the 100. You get it. So we have a lot of unfulfilled promises made by MPP. I don't want to go back and re-echo what Dr. Lawrence mentioned, but I agree entirely with Dr. Lawrence that let's look at the 1D, 1F. Let's look at the 1 million per constituency. I mean, look at the number of promises they have made and how did it ended. Let me give you another record. Last year, prior to the campaign.
So you are not against building hospitals, but you just
like I said, when it comes to building of health infrastructure, NDC have an enviable record.
But they're also saying that the MPP introduced drones into the country in 4 different locations, and they are able to deliver medicine, including the vaccines that we are currently rolling out to remote areas, even bringing samples to Noguchi and the KCCR. And that is a record that NDC doesn't have. They're talking about they've introduced digitization into the NIH system where, NIH card holders are able to renew their membership using iPhone phones, and 80% of the renewals in last year alone came through people using their mobile phones. Yes.
Rome is not built in a day. Like I told you earlier on, I said NDC started the pilot of national health insurance. Okay, we're not successful. We're out of government. Kufuor came to implement district mutual health insurance. Okay, when we got the chance again, we did it national health insurance. You get it? So NDC can never be said it's against health delivery. Like I keep on mentioning, when it comes to the record of health infrastructure and health delivery, we have enviable record.
Okay.
I challenge IFA to just give me 5 prominent hospitals that MPP 1 and MPP 2 have built. Okay, and then IFA will come back and tell you, oh, we procure ambulance. Yes, it is true, you procure ambulance. When you go and pick the sick people, where will you keep them? If you don't have the health infrastructure.
Right.
You get it?
Okay.
So it is they don't have priorities. What you need to do, you have to prioritize your things. First thing first. That is why John Mahama was saying that progressive free SHS.
Okay.
So that he will get the chance to implement the 200 schools that he built after the time we were leaving office.
Right.
We built 123. That is the very thing Mahama was trying to do to prevent. But the very situation we found ourselves is what Mahama was trying to prevent then. You get it?
So we got it that we don't have problem against. We got it that the party
don't have problem.
The party and you in particular, you're not against hospitals, but prioritization. It's what you think the MPP is not prioritizing.
But we are questioning the person who is making the promise. We are looking at the person who is making the promise. You get it? We are making about that. If like I said earlier on, if I need help, I come to you and you offered it. Next time, if I'm coming to you, I know you'll be able to help.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
MPP don't have any record when it comes to health infrastructure delivery.
Right.
Okay.
But they've built a NICU. They built 2 NICUs, right? Even the first lady was spearheading this, where he built a NICU at Kolebu and I think Akufo-Noche or so.
Okay.
Is it East or so that they've delivered? They delivered a couple of hospitals, right? So let's wrap up on this one.
Okay. So if I want to go by your own assertion right now, the Mrs. Akufo-Addo, even have a better record than that of their husband when it comes to health infrastructure.
Right.
You get it? If I should go by your own assertion right now, I would say that the wife of Akufo-Addo, have better record of than the husband.
No, but I mean, if you look into the work program that I shared with you, there are a couple of projects that have already been completed, which are things that were started under this administration. So it is not entirely true that they haven't completed any one hospital. They have completed some hospitals.
The chiefs of Femina and Kumewu are on record to have gone on their knee many times begging Akufo-Addo to come and complete the 80%, 90%, respectively, project Mahama left behind.
Right.
Okay. And you see, so this is the reason why we are questioning the people who are talking. And moreover, experts have also mentioned that the $70 million for a district hospital is inadequate.
Okay.
The $17 million for the district hospital for each hospital. It's inadequate. What kind of hospital are they going to build? And Mahama is on record to have built over 2,000 chief compounds. So the places they are taking, they are using the drone to deliver the blood. Those infrastructure that is housing the blood were built by Mahama. So NDC have a superior record when it comes to health delivery. We are not against them building 111, but we are questioning the person who is saying is making the promise. Last year, to wrap up. Last year, prior to the campaign, Akufo-Addo went to Bonkatamasu to cut the sword for a hospital project, and a chief was said to be rude towards Akufo-Addo. What was the statement of the chief? He said, "We have seen a lot of sword cutting. We have seen a lot of promises. You are also here to do the same thing." Okay, what is the current state of that hospital? It's still Berlin. La General Hospital, state-of-the-art facility that was providing services. When Obama visited Ghana, he went to that facility.
Let's not digress too much. So you've made your point.
So he raised that facility
let's go back to. You've made your point. I mean, it is clear what you think. The person who's making the promise is where the problem is, because there were so many promises that were made that were not fulfilled. But you believe that hospitals are good things. The NDC have impeccable records, so we got that. Let me take this quick messages, and then I want to go back to Efa quickly for 1 minute rebuttal, because we've said so many things that point to his presentation, and I'd like for him to respond. But before I do that, Akko Radio is saying, Jima FC Director Efa, how are you doing? Okay, so that's the greetings to you, Efa, from our station, Akko Radio. Edward Ofori is watching. He's saying that Dr. Danso, great job. He's impressed with your presentation there, Dr. Danso. And then he's also saying Ghana Agenda is the best show. We know that. So yesterday I was there watching Adon Paul Autry make his presentation on what he means when he's doing what do you call it? His editorial. And I made a quick plug-in for us that Ghana Agenda definitely is the best program out there. So yes, we know Ghana Agenda is the best. And we are grateful for all the viewers and the comments that are coming in. But Slinger says NDC and plotting, always piloting. They plotted, I'm thinking it's always plotting. They plotted the NHS and also free SHS. All right. And Boslinger again says, I've heard Muzu, you have been wonderful today. You are doing great. Keep that up. Thank you so much, Boslinger. Now, what I want to do is bring in Efa, and then, of course, our brother, Dr. Ofori, again says, finally, Lifetime Legacy showed your face. Lifetime Legacy has shown his face, and we are happy to have him on the show. So what I want to do now is bring Efa back in quickly. Efa, if you're still with us, you've asked a couple of things said about your presentation. Some challenges to the figure you quoted, which is the 17 million for the district hospital. Dr. Lawrence says that there are different textures of even sun across the country, and therefore you couldn't have that uniform figure across board to say it was going to work. Do you want to rebut to that quickly? Otherwise, we can move on to the next topic. All right. Efa, can you hear me? I think you're on mute.
Go out there and I'm in a car, so don't worry about any this thing. So can I go on, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so a few comments. First, Lawrence, I have
to make it quickly for us, right? So do it in about 1.5 minutes so we can.
It's not really going to be quick, but when my time is up, just cut me off. Lawrence's presentation where he infuses insult, see, he gotta take it off. What happened? Keep it to yourself. Don't come on a show like this and be using such words and other ones and repeatedly. Right. See, I mean, that is, and I don't I mean, why can't you make your presentation without insulting? You can disagree, but what is all that? So please make the presentation without that. Now let me correct some of their lies. NDC did not complete 123 secondary schools. See, they've said so many things. We need time to really throw away their propaganda. Now, the project was 200 secondary schools. When IMF heard it, right, they gave a grant for 123 secondary schools. Of those 123, they did not even complete up to 50. They did not. And this is record. They did not complete up to 50. The Minister of Education made a presentation in Parliament. Kujektua Blocker was there, and he said that even the ones that were not completed, they still have to go look for money to complete. And since MPP came to power, we've completed 27 of those ones. These are all matter of records. So there was nothing like you completed 123. Get the facts and the record straight. So that is that. Now, they are talking about health infrastructure, right? Now, all these regional hospitals he's talking about, Formina, Sewua, and all those places, right? These were projects Kufuor initiated. The irrigate projects were initiated by Kufuor with funding and everything in place. It so happened that after 2008, we exited power and you guys came. It was supposed to have been a 36 months project. And we are still talking about not being completed. You see, you stayed in power for 8 good years and you did not complete it. And some of them have been completed. And there is not a single of all those projects that we have not touched. That's not true. They are at various stages of completion, and I may not have time. Like I said, I may not have time, but I can share all that we've done as far as that is concerned so far here. So let us get that one straight. It is very, very important. Now, let me put it on record too, that University of Ghana Medical Center, the second phase is still ongoing. The agreement, the loan agreement for that was approved in 2018. It is not a fully completed project. Now, the first one was completed in 2016. You commissioned it, but you did not operationalize it. We operationalized it in 2017. So get all these kind of stuff. You have to get all these things straight. What we are saying is that NDC believes that some districts don't need.
When you say you operationalize it, what exactly do you have to do?
Make people go there and work. You know, them put the management in place. You know, like hire doctors, nurses. You know, the management. They just did the ceremony. We've completed and closed it. That you come and tell us it's not true. They just go and for show, because it was 2016 and it was election for show. Oh, it's completed, closed it. We have operationalized it and we have started the second phase. There was no money for the second phase. What are you talking about? Now, here is where the problem is. Now, we see a need and we are doing it. They say, go and complete it. We are going to go complete it too. They say, oh, no, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what do you want to tell us? Now, NDC is telling us that this is not feasible. This is not, this is impossible. But I mean, what Segbefia is telling us that Agenda 111 is a package. It's NDC packaged idea. So you have this idea that is impossible. And MPP has packaged it and make it possible. How do we combine all these kind of statements? You know, it's mind-boggling when we have this thing confusing people. In any case, Bagbe said, you cannot come here and always seem to oppose everything. You gotta get that straight. And when it comes to, we can do a comparison of records. But at the end of the day, what is important is that there is a need for something. And we've seen it. Who should wait? And we're comparing it to the free SHS. We have never said that there are no challenges. But our question has always been that who should wait for you guys to wait the 20 years to provide the infrastructure? And when you see, it is like you have children. You have been a quote unquote a father who was encouraging in the past, having given birth to about 10 children, and you have 5 rooms. And you are saying you have 5 rooms, so 5 children come and sleep. The rest stay outside. And MPP is saying no children can wait. We shouldn't let any child wait. Everybody, we should find a way to make them go to school as we provide the infrastructure. And that is the debate. And that is why we say that when NDC come to power, we're going to go back to the old ways because they believe that we shouldn't let everybody go. Some should wait. Who should wait? And I've said it on radio. All the NDC supporters will say, oh, the school is so bad that we are going to wait, or we are going to take our children to private schools. Then government can focus on the people that think that, oh, yes, we have challenges, but let us find means to make this work. It is important, and that is very significant. Sorry about that. I had a call, so that interrupts the whole thing.
No problem. Okay, so let's take a quick break, and then when we get back from the break, we want to move to the Tema Motorway project that has been awarded to Motor Angels, and discuss whether that is a good thing, whether it should be revised, whether this project should be brought home to Ghanaian contractors. We'll be right back.
Acha demienya mi machaku Gaka nyedona vovolina nyakomato Obacha demienya mi machaku Gaka nyedona vovolina nyakomato Obasiana acha de yonya Nabiwe Umachaku Oh Atia Dewunya Yana Umachaku Gaka Wado Bobolina Yokomoto Gaka Wado Bobolina Yokomoto Siana. Azalo. Madam no fima piambere nka jijok pom magale nyasela klonu pola afaya maha Siana time gado time ado miga Siana woga kaka ajaya fuhiya mata miga woga virtually enye empress mausi enye ganya to bazuku enye ganya dadalo enye kwanya kamachio miga le Siana ji afaya maha Esbidon alagba
mabana enye Esbidon the camus for the royal king kunugu chano na kunugu kwa apemu no bibina salike the dalo of plena Siana a bravo boy near ya wakemiga nemile nya kosema biga bijana kono mi blamya ji biso se nemya ba no abuano na gawu.
Okay, welcome back to the program. That was an announcement for Siena, which is the Council of Airway Associations of North America, which will be having another virtual convention this year, starting from September 3rd through September 5th. For all airways in the United States and Canada. If you're listening, watching us, please note those dates and join the Siena or the Association of Airway, Council of Airway Associations to continue to contribute to the development of the Volta region and Airwayland, which means both Togo and Benin. All right, so back to our discussion. Kwame Nkrumah has done Tema Motorway at a time when Ghana's population was about 5 million. Today we are about 31 million, going to 32 million. We've not expanded motorway. We've done a flyover to kind of decongest the route to Tema when you're getting to Tema, because it's always congested there. But phase 2 of this is where we want to make a 5-lane expansion of the motorway itself, and we try to do this through a PPP, which is a partnership with private entities, where they would finance the projects, manage and toll it. In other words, they'll build it, put toll booths on it, collect those tolls for some number of years, and then hand it over to government. We put out a solicitation for that, and we had 23 companies responding. Noteworthy, something to note is that not a single Ghanaian company actually proposed to be part of the PPP. That is because we needed the companies that would be taking on the project to be able to finance it. At the time, we said it was going to cost about $470 million to build. And the 23 companies that proposed, we found that none of them actually met the requirements that we laid out in our solicitation. So we drew the PPP solicitation and then now decided that one of the companies, Motor Angel, a South African company, which is actually owned by, it's a Portuguese company, but incorporated in South Africa as well. We singled them out and decided to pursue them on a sole source basis, where now we are giving them a contract to build the motorway or expand the motorway for us, but not the other components where they would maintain and toll it for some years. Now they're just going to build, deliver to Ghana, and we would be doing the maintenance and the management ourselves. But for some reason, the cost went up to 570, almost 100 million jump. Now, questions are being asked. Why are we giving such a project to foreign companies first? Why hasn't the negotiations or the agreements with this foreign company gone through Parliament? Because my understanding is we've gotten the PPP approval to sole source it, which is by law, but it also has to go through Parliament according to Article 181.5, which says that negotiations or agreements with foreign entities be routed through Parliament for approval. But that hasn't happened yet. And the cost involved, people are also questioning whether, the cost should be going up now that Motor Angel is now, bringing financing in, that the Ghana government have to go look for the money themselves. So we Ghana have to look for the money and pay this company just to build for us. The reason we didn't have Ghanaian companies actually proposing in the initial PPP arrangement was that we needed the PPP partner to bring in cash to build this expansion project we are talking about on the motorway. But now that component is no longer needed, now that we don't need a partner to bring in money, that the government itself would be bringing in the money, why don't we use Ghanaian companies? The only reason we use foreign companies is that when we are using loans from the countries, let's say if China is giving us loan to do a project in Ghana, they make it a requirement that that project is executed by a Chinese company. So we bring Chinese companies to actually do the project. But here is the case: Ghana would be finding the money to do this, to embark on this expansion of the motorway. Why are we now using Ghanaian companies to build capacity in Ghana? Let me bring in Afa on that for first comment. Afa, if you are listening, okay, I don't know if Afa is ready, but Afa, if he's ready, let me know. Okay, great. I think he's ready now. Afa, so what can you tell us about this project? What do you know about this project and, the whole cry about the fact that we are giving it to Motor Angels, which is a South African company. And the question being asked is, when was the last time South Africa actually gave project to a Ghanaian company to execute a project such as, just an expansion of a motorway or a highway in South Africa? When was the last time that happened? And why is it that our country is happily giving a project of this magnitude to a South African company when we are the ones bringing the money in?
Also, the issue is not really the cost of the project, but usually they're bringing so many issues.
I think the cost of the project is the issue as well. Because initially we were saying, bring in the money, do it yourself. It was going to cost 470 million. Then all of a sudden we increased it to now almost 570, which is about 100 million jump. And we are saying, if this time around they don't even have to do all the things we're going to do under the partnership, the PPP agreements, they are only going to build, deliver, and that's it for them. Why has the cost gone up?
morning. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cost of it is the cost of project, and just as
Yes.
all other projects has been, there's always this issue of the cost is too much, the cost is this, and blah blah blah. What I would say about the cost is that the engineers and other things can look into it and then see which ones we can beat down and all that kind of stuff. But if the party that is talking about cost here, which is the NDC, is telling me that a project that is going to involve about, I mean, I stand to be
It
corrected
shouldn't
if
be
I
a
make it.
party talking about costs, right? I think all Ghanaians should be worried about costs. So
No.
you should even be worried about
I'm
costs.
making a point. If we're going to have about 3 interchanges, right? 3 or 4 interchanges, right?
Yeah, I think almost 5 or so from the last.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if we were in a country where we were able to do 1 interchanges, and again, some people are going to talk about ancillaries and all that kind of stuff, which is perfectly fine. Now, we cannot do these projects without talking about ancillaries. So if one project was able to cost us, which is the Circle project, was able to cost us about 274 million, right?
Something like that. We can go.
Yeah, 274 million, and we're going to have about 5 interchanges, 10 lanes, 5 year, and all that expansions. And we are talking about all these blah blah. Sometimes, you see, we genuinely have to criticize, look at the project critically, and exercise and caution the government, or we can do this, we can do that. When we come in,
just to quickly correct
Right.
something, so it's not interchanges per se, right? It's just like these flyovers, like connecting, let's say Ashaiman flyover. So it's not like an interchange in the sense of what you see in Pokwasi types.
Oh no, I didn't say Pokwasi because I was talking about Circle. So Circle, it is just a flyover. It is not even 2-3 layers or stuff like that. So that is what we're going to have at various places, right? As has been mentioned in there. And if we're able to do 1, which costs about half of this, and we are doing 5 at various places. And most of these places that we are talking about are urban, already developed centers where, land acquisition and anything that we're going to go are going to go high. So I am all for an objective, review of the whole thing. I'm not saying we should brush the opposition aside. We can take their concern into consideration and see where we can make adjustments. But this is important. This project is good. Let us execute it. Let us follow through with, what we need to do as a country. Another thing that is of concern is us building our local capacity. Major projects like this are given to international contractors and stuff like that. And I agree with people that say, we should sometimes give some of these things to some of our projects and some of these projects to some of our contractors to be able to build our local capacity. That I am all for, So over time, we should find a way to develop our local expertise, our, tools will specialize in all of these things. I don't know if they exist. We have them currently that we are bypassing them. But we certainly need to make sure that in the long term, because these things are going to be coming up, that we put in place a policy that gives, the Ghanaian the ability to, do these things so that we can also be winning international contracts and stuff like that. So that part, I agree with them. But this is a good project. This is things that are going to open up the country, open up the economy, and bring in jobs and other stuff. And there's the need for all of us to support.
So you agree that we reverse this? This is something we should perhaps take away from, because it's not like Parliament has already approved anything. The minister have signed an agreement with Motor Angels. Motor Angels is taking that agreement all over the world, looking for financing in order that they've wanted a project in Ghana, etc., etc. But chances are the Parliament could say, we disagree, that they would have to do that project and send it to locals. So you are in agreement too that, we shouldn't give this to, especially if we are going to be the ones funding it, then we shouldn't give it to foreign companies. We should give it to a local company.
I am. What you see, I said that with the caveat that we need to build our local capacity. I don't know if we have the local capacity to do these type of projects. You get what I mean?
We do.
So,
yeah.
So if we have that local capacity, then it is important that we look at our local capacity, because then the money will be revolving around ourselves, and we'll be able to, channel this money into other projects that will be needed in Ghana, because these foreigners will take it out.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are specific reasons that go into why a Ghanaian company may not be chosen, but an outsider may not be chosen. Maybe it has to do with financing or whatever it may be, right? But some of these things, if it is the case that
the financing now, Ghana is doing the financing.
Right. If it is the case that we are financing it, that it is important that we look at our local capacity, our local contractors, and see if they are capable. Then why won't we give it to them if they are and they can do it? So if we don't have it too, then it is important that we build our local capacity, because you see, to be developed, you need to be revolving the money around yourself. If you push the money out, they come and make the profit and take it away, and that will not be benefiting us. So that is what I'm going to say. But the cost of the project and all that is involved, it's close to that amount, and I think for that one, the opposition should consider that. But the other aspects too, the government can chip in and see which local companies have the capacity and ability to build, and then we look at that part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Let me bring in Ato quickly. Ato indicated that he may be departing from the show a lot earlier today because he has to attend to something else. But Ato, quickly, here's where the government, when they were trying to get a PPP arrangement where the partner we will be bringing in was supposed to bring the financing, do the project, manage it for a couple of years and hand it over to Ghana. We quoted a lower price for the project, $470 million. Then, because we couldn't find any company qualified or, meeting the requirement we had set out in that solicitation, we went out to sole source with this particular company, who was one of the people or one of the companies that proposed. But interestingly, the price had jumped up. And there's no good explanation given to why that price has jumped up. And we're also saying that, Ghanaian companies were ignored in this process. So like my brother has said, FA said, it is important for us to take a second look at that and empower our local companies by perhaps reversing that decision and including them in the solicitation as well. Do you agree with what he has to say? And if you do you think it makes sense that the price will go up instead of perhaps going down now that Ghana, the country itself, would have to look for the financing?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm on call this weekend, so I have received a call to attend to work. That's why I have to leave. I'm sorry about leaving early today.
No problem.
I discussed this last week. I'm surprised that as Ghanaians, when we're in opposition, we're always opposed to sole sourcing. I agree with you. Why would we even do sole sourcing for any activity in Ghana? If it was your personal property, would you do sole sourcing for an activity like that? Right. And I wanted to explain what you were trying to explain to the public. So what usually people do is it's called build, operate, transfer. You bring your money, you build, say, a road, you set up points, checkpoints, and then you collect money through the toll booths. And then when you've made your money and profit, then you transfer to the government. Right. Like you said, that was what's supposed to be the prudent thing to do. That was the value for money. Like an outsider brings money, they build, they operate the toll booths, and they transfer to us. Right. But in this instance, we are rather having the money, going to give it to a foreign company. That's unconscionable. It's mind-boggling that any government would even think about this kind of deal. Last week we discussed this. If it was gold, we didn't have the expertise. So we had people who had expertise. They come with their expertise, and then they mine for us. In this instance, it's just about we want to build road. We have contractors in Ghana who can build a road, and then we give our money to a foreign company through sole sourcing to come and build for us. In this 21st century, then what are we doing as a country? What are we doing if we cannot mine gold? We can't build roads in our country. That when we have to give it to people the amount increases. There's no excuse for this. I'm sorry. There's no excuse for whatsoever for this. And it upsets me so much. Like in 21st century, we talk about source sourcing. We are giving our money to somebody to come and build roads for us. Perfect. Where else would you hear this than Africa? Where else?
Right.
Where have you gone wrong?
And you never see Ghanaian companies. We have formidable Ghanaian companies.
Do this. If we have the money to do it, if you're bringing your money, that's fine. Come, build, operate, transfer.
Right.
In this instance, we are the one giving money to a foreign company to come and build roads for us in Ghana. I mean, I understand the Tema Motorway has been built by Nkrumah for a long time. It needs expansion. But that should not defeat the fact that we have to give our money to somebody and come and build roads for us. And the money keeps increasing just when we want to give the money to people. Through source sourcing, I mean, this is one of those unconscionable deals that I've ever seen in Ghana. I'm sorry about it.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say. I don't know what else I can say about this.
Oh, that's good enough. Yeah, like you said, you said it all. It's unconscionable. We should definitely now, especially if it is not something that a foreign company, a foreign government is doing for us as a ECP 10 key. For instance, when the Japanese were doing the runabout in the Tema area, they are funding it, so it's okay for them to bring a Japanese company.
It's not gold, it's not oil, it's not something we don't have expertise for. This is something that this is very basic. We don't need South Africans to come and build roads for us. We give them money. They don't have the money. We have to give them money to come and build road for us. Right. Why can anybody defend this? I'm surprised if I is even attempting to defend this. This is indefensible. I'm sorry.
Right.
But again, thank you very much for the opportunity and my regards. Hopefully, I'll see you next time.
Right. And thanks for coming and joining the show and contributing as always. We really appreciate it. We'll be back hopefully next week. We actually are planning taking a couple of weeks off, but would announce that after today's show. But thanks for joining us, and we hope you get to finish that work quickly and get some rest for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So let me bring in Dr. Lawrence on this issue. Dr. Lawrence, the issue of the price of the project actually going up, and the fact that we are not getting any explanation for that makes people suspicious that something could be happening in the back that perhaps is untoward, because even as we speak, Parliament hasn't really been presented with this agreement to review and approve. Are you also of the view that there could be some issue here, that the fact that we are sole sourcing to one company, and this company actually apparently have some bad records in other African countries where they were found to be bribing a president, and they have to be kicked out of those countries? So, are you also of the school of thought that there could be something happening in the background that we may not be aware of?
Yeah, Alfred, before I go to that topic, let me use 1 second of my time to address on something that Kakape and Dr. Ato said. They said I should make my points without insults. I agree, and I thank them for that advice. But I also advise them to stop saying things that will let me insult them. Do you see? They should stop saying things that will let me insult them. If they stop saying things that will let me insult them, I will not insult them. I'm not a fool to be coming on TV, on radio, to be just insulting. I insult when I think that you are first insulting me. Let me give you an example. You introduced something you call free senior higher education. You didn't think through that program. So you just implement it because you want to make noise that you have implemented free senior education. And then down the road, reality caught up with you. You realize that you don't have any rooms, any buildings. You realize that you don't even have dormitories, you don't have dining halls. And then to solve that problem, you resort to making green and blue, way to get the children into the school. Green and blue.
That is the tracks.
The double track thing of admissions. And then the double track came. We were telling you the double track will not allow the children to have enough teacher-student time ratio. And you say, oh, don't worry, they will do it. They will do it. You will do it. We will fix it. And then at the end of the day, these children have to stay home 3 months. I mean, they will stay home 9 months and go to school 3 months. And you call that increase in teacher-student contact hours. And then at the end of it all, you would take your children from these public schools and bring them to schools in America and then UK. And then you want to convince me to stay, to put my child or my children in the school because you think if the child is educated under 3, it is better than he staying at home. Are you not insulting me? You have taken your child or your children out of that school, but you are convincing me to leave my children in that school because you think my children having education under 3s is better than if they are staying at home. Haven't you insulted me when you have taken your children out of those schools? And if you are convincing me to leave my children in the school, don't I have the right to also come and insult you? Are you the only one who have the right to insult me by convincing me to leave my children under 3s when you have taken your children to the United States for better education? Are you the one who have the right? So what I am saying and what I normally say and what I do is that don't insult my intelligence thinking that I am a fool. If you want to tell me I am a fool, I will also let you know that you are an idiot. So you know that you haven't just insulted me, but I have known that and I have seen that you have insulted me. That is fair. So that is what it is. If you have thought through the free SNE education and have known that you don't have buildings, so you should first build buildings to get all these children in there and make the education quality. Why would I insult you? If you have implemented free SNE education and the children are having quality education and your children are in that same school as my children, why would I come and insult you? But if you implement a policy that is so bogus and porous, and you take your children out of that school, but you want to convince me that I should leave my children there because getting education under 3s is better than staying at home, I will have to come and insult you too. So, Dr. Atu and Kakape, understand why I insult. I just don't come on radio and TV and insult because I'm stupid. I don't insult like that. But if you're trying to insult me, I would insult you back. Now, going back to this contract thing, you see, Alfred, this is why I keep saying that MPP is not a government that people should even entertain in Ghana. MPP, they are not a party. They are not a government that people should even entertain in Ghana. This contract thing that they have sold in to a foreign company, that they are giving the financing to the foreign company, has been approved by cabinet. And the chairperson or the chairman of the cabinet is the president. So you think the president doesn't know about this deal? You think the president doesn't know about this contract? Why is he allowing it to go on? When you and I, we are not the president of Ghana. We are not even close to becoming a deputy minister in Ghana. We have thought it wise and we have known that this is a bad deal for the country. You and I, we are not even deputy minister. We are not even close to being deputy minister. we have thought it wise that sole sourcing a huge project like this to a foreign company and financing it is bad for the country. Why didn't the president see that?
Let's also be cognizant of the fact that we are not privy to the information that perhaps cabinet had when they had, approved it. So we may be speaking out of
Alfred, what are they hiding?
Right.
What are they hiding? Why won't they come forward with the whole truth? Why wouldn't they come forward and tell us everything about that contract? Because right now, all that we know is what we have told you. All that we know is what we are discussing on this program.
Right. And it's also so because it hasn't gone through Parliament for the review, because when it does go through Parliament for the review, then we can consult the Hansard.
Master, don't even discuss Parliament. Let's talk up. Let's stay here. Let's stay here. Let's stay here. Do you see? And it is the NDC who are talking about this thing. Oh. It is not the MPPO.
Right.
And you see how Dr. Atu was saying he is even surprised that Kakape is defending this indefensible. And if I should insult you on this, have I done anything wrong? Something that
right,
is
like I do have a comment here actually from Dr. Rasa Kolache, who says that Dr. Lawrence, insults do not belong to the intellectual public square. Deflate arguments with superior ones. So that's his advice to you.
And that is what I know. What he said is what I know. And if he's listening, I said that if you try to insult my intelligence by taking your children out of a school, but convincing me to put my children there or leaving my children in that school, you are insulting my intelligence and I will insult you back. Right. But if you do a good school and leave your children in that school and tell my children to go to that same school, I don't have any problems with you. I would insult you for that. But that's by the way. Right. So it is the NDC who saw this project as dangerous to the country, and we raised alarm. And Alfred, look at, if you have any problems with this thing, just look at the auditor's report that is coming out there that everybody is looking at.
Right.
And Nana Akufo-Addo had the gust to say this current Auditor General is better than Domlevu, because he was only giving the part of the report that talks about 2015. From 2017 to 2020, nobody has given that report to the president, so he's not aware of that report. Right. But that report captures what we are discussing right now. So it is the NDC that is coming up with all these loopholes and all this thievery and all this corruption and all this criminality by this government. Right. And I hope Ghanaians are listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let me take this comment quickly. And this comment is coming from Dr. Kolache one more time. He says, local capacity cannot be wished into being. Furthermore, we don't award contracts based on nationalism, but competence. At times, you don't have a choice but to look beyond your borders. For me, I think regardless of who gets the bid, we need well-balanced negotiated terms. And that is a well presented comment there. But I guess what a lot of us are finding it hard to overcome is we definitely need our local contractors to also build the capacity to be able to take on, projects like that. And so when the opportunity comes, especially when we are financing it, sometimes it may be more expensive to do it even with a local companies, but sometimes it just makes sense for us to do so because it is the profit that is generated by those local contractors get to stay within the economy instead of it's being lifted away by these foreigners, etc. So in totality, it benefits our people, the Ghanaians, more when we set aside some of these projects to local contractors. But by all means, we want the most competent contractors executing our projects. So if it is that, we can't find any competent contractor in Ghana, then of course we should be able to look outside our borders. And on that note, I agree with you. And then Dr. Kolachi also says that sole sourcing is the most moronic move anyone can make, let alone a government. I used to be a contracting officer in the U.S. Government at some point in my life, and sole source contracts are reserved for situations where you can find no other contractor, but there's just one contractor who has dedicated resources in building the capacity to do that job, or where there is a national security issue involved where you want a local firm that is trusted to be the one to execute. There are clearly outline reasons why a contracting officer would award a contract or set aside a contract to sole source. Or it could be for economic reasons. It could be set aside for hub zones or for so many different reasons. So the fact that it is the first action that we take in Ghana when we are trying to award anything in government, it's just mind-boggling. Every single contract that we award in government these days is not actually going through the tendering processes, just being sole source. In other words, we identify the contractor and without everyone else. So yes, I agree with you. Sole sourcing is moronic. Let me bring in Lifetime Legacy to give me your take on this. Lifetime Legacy, I guess my question to you is this. How do we go forward? I mean, the recommendation we are all, I'm hearing all of us make here is that this particular deal should be looked into and, if possible, reversed to, favor a Ghanaian company. What is your take on that?
Yeah, thank you, Alfred. I think I listened to the Deputy Minister for Highway, and his comments is so annoying. I believe that he was saying that 40% when he was pushed during the interview about why not we resorting to local contractors. He was saying that he first said we don't have local contractors who could do that project. When he was further pushed, then he said that 40% of the contract will be done by Ghanaian. Right. So my question is, if Ghanaians can 40%, then what will prevent them from doing the other 60%? You get it? Right. So for me, when you look at the way the whole thing is going, for me, I smell corruption somewhere. Because when the project was first advertised, it was the company who is interested should use its own resources, build, operate, maintain, and transfer. That was $480 million. All of a sudden, we didn't get any of these 23 companies who expressed interest meeting the requirement. And then when the government decided to withdraw it and they handpicked this particular company, then all of a sudden the amounts have risen from 480 to 570 million. If this is not corruption, the motive behind this is not corruption, one will find it difficult to explain the rationale or the motive behind this particular deal.
So way forward, what do you think we should do?
I am of opinion that we have local companies that are capable of doing that project. And as a proud Ghanaian, I am of opinion that even if we don't have one company that have a capacity, and even to resort to about 4 or 5 local companies, put them together to get this project done, I'll be very happy. The money will stay in the country. It will create job for our people, and goods and services that the money will be spent on will remain in the country. So I am of opinion that the government should look at it again. If the government continues to fail or to hear to advice, and it doesn't go to parliament, people should be prosecuted when there is a change of government over this, because I smell corruption.
Okay, great. So you smell corruption, and therefore, if this is jumped through, then of course we should, like you advised there, we should proceed to prosecution in the next government or in the next administration if he happens to be in NDC. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break, make it short, just 30 seconds here. And then when we return, we want to look at the Article 94 issues. I know our time is fast spent, but we've postponed that issue for 2 weeks already. So let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about Article 94 in Asin North and Jomoro.
Hey, this your girl coming all the way from the US of A, yeah baby, aka Ya Vandam. And me di feel a boozing pan and to see one bridge with your money how Ghana mat other romantic. What's me sending provisions as a sutra credit Emma Ebusuya Fonia and the form one Ghana. And one is a www.ghanamat.com. And they would say, boy, a sharp connection. www.ghanamat.com. Let's try provisions in the credit. Na really Zankasa. I have friend numbers na screen naseno. Ghana Mat ye crano.
All right, welcome back to the Ghana Agenda. Article 94 of our Constitution says the following. 94.1 says, subject to the provisions of this article, a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament unless A, he is a citizen of Ghana, has attained the age of 21 years and is registered voter. B, it says he is resident in the constituency for which he stands as a candidate for election to parliament, or has resided there for a total period of not less than 5 years out of the 10 years immediately preceding the election for which he stands, or he hails from that constituency. And C, say he has paid all his taxes, made arrangements to satisfactory to the appropriate authorities for the payment of his taxes. And 2 says a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament if he owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana, or has been adjourned or otherwise declared bankrupt under any law in force in Ghana and has not been discharged, or to be of unsound mind and is detained as a criminal lunatic under any law in force in Ghana, and on and on and on. So we have Madam Dorcas Afo-Toffee, who represented NDC on the tickets of at Jomoro in the Western region, and actually won her seat. She's been taken to courts. Case is currently at High Court. She's been alleged to be a citizen of Ivory Coast. And also Mr. Joe Jackie Jason, who also won his seat on the ticket of NDC at Asin North constituency in the Central region. He's also been dragged to the High Courts on allegations that he continues to have an allegiance with Canada. Now, Mr. Joe's case, I think, has ended in the High Court. Judgment has been given. And part of that judgment is that, he needs to, there should be a rerun of that election. They found him not to have properly renowned his allegiance to Canada as the day he was filing the application to contest the seat, that his Canadian citizenship renunciation has not been issued. This issue affects all of us, those of us who are sitting in the United States. Some of us are US citizens. I know some of you are not. But what is allegiance? At what point is this allegiance thing actually properly renowned? Is it when you are about to enter into parliament? Because what the law says here, and 2, it says a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament if he owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana, right? But all this, it's so the person can be eligible to be in parliament. It says, subject to the provision of this article, a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament. But the law, what I'm not hearing from the law is whether it is saying, the law is not saying a person shall not be eligible to contest, but it's saying a person shall not be eligible to be a member of parliament. There are a couple of things that need to happen before a person becomes a member of parliament. 1, the person has to be elected. 2, the person has to be sworn in. 3, etc., etc. So, is it at the swearing in that you have to be you have to be qualified to be in parliament? Is that when the determination should be made? Or is it much, much further down in the process? Let me start with Afa on this one. Afa, this is a topic that you are very interested in. So what is your take on this? When should we actually draw the line on this eligibility question?
Yeah, thank you very much. And just a quick comment on the last 2 discussions before. So once again, Alfred, when we talk behind the scene, how this your show is dear to my heart. So we should, like Mr. Akolache said, we should come here and make our points without, certain words. And I like the way Mr. Akolache puts it. So let us continue to up the game and come here and use facts to debunk the issues, and then we go forward on that. Now, on the issue of corruption, yes, corruption is a problem in the country, and we all should find a way to fight it. When one political party comes to power and all they make is, what do they call it? They have a word they use, scandals. And then we've seen this over and over again. But then again, when you take our 4th Republican dispensation, right, it is that political party that has seen most of its members go to jail for various acts of corruption and other acts against the Constitution and the country. So let us look at that aspect very carefully. Now, the issue of sole sourcing seems to be a border for both political parties. Is it a way that we can couch a path forward for ourselves? It's just a matter of MDC will come to power and use it, MPP comes to power and use it. So it is important that we fix the problem of sole sourcing and then we move on. We cannot take it completely out, but it's important that, we come up. If the current situation is not working, we do something about it other than playing political game with it. So that is that. Now, let's go to the discussion that you have for us. So citizenship and allegiance have become an issue, and just as you read in the Constitution, see, that question has already been answered. Now, the feeling of the process, the process is part of all the qualification of you becoming an MP. And on the sheet, when you are filing, like when you are filing with the Electoral Commission, you fill out these forms where they ask you all these questions and you fill them out. So right, it's important that we take this into consideration. You see, where I am and what my party suffered and what is going on, it informs us that, as a country and as both political parties, there's the need for us to do something about that article.
Right.
I personally don't think that dual citizenship or you taking up another citizenship means you cannot function in what we can exempt the presidency. That I don't have a problem with, but others that have been added in, I disagree with the current position of the law. I disagree with what its interpretation has been. But hey, we have the Supreme Court, and that is what they tell us, right? And that is what we gotta do. So if both parties have suffered all these casualties, then there is the need for all of us. But you see, our research, right? Our research has shown that there are two schools of thought when it comes to this article in particular. There are still some people that believe that the law should be as it is from both sides of the political divide, from both parties as it is, and that it should be maintained as such. It is unfortunate that people are going through all these things, but I don't want to dive too much into the politics of it. We use it at least when it favors us and all that kind of stuff, but it is important. Now, as we speak, there is currently a private bill that is being sponsored by, is it Dr.
Professor Asare?
Professor Asare. Currently, he's going to see the Speaker of Parliament, and they've drafted it, and then they've seen the leadership, and it is going. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. For anybody that feels that this particular bill needs to be changed, we all should channel our energy into making sure that we can exempt the presidency. I don't have a problem with that. But certain other things that have been stated, director of this, blah, blah, maybe chief justice too, whatever, we can have key, but MP to make laws for the country. And you see, when we have come to this part of the world, right, we also go to Ghana with enriched experience. We add on to the local expertise. And there are situations where we've been able to prove that we are back to help our country and do whatever we can. If you look at if you look at our source of income, right? The way the amount of money that we send back home, the remittances. Yeah, that was the word I was trying to use.
Yeah, the remittances. We do about almost 3.5 or 3.6 billion a year.
It's a huge thing. Now, one of the things that led to independence is they were saying no taxation without representation, right?
Taxation without representation.
Exactly. If we can be sending all this money, it is not taxation as such, but it's a huge part of the development. In fact, the diaspora and Ghanaians abroad contribution to Ghana development is really huge. So if this is against us in any way, then there is the need for us to look at the Constitution and see what we can do about it. Fortunately, that is not an entrenched position. It is not
it's not an entrenched provision in the Constitution, so we don't need a referendum.
Exactly. But you see, you need 2/3 of the majority. You need about 185 or so of the MPs, which means no one political party can do it. It's not a simple majority. So these people, man. Sorry about that. I'm having somebody calling in.
Okay, I can bring you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody came in. When there's a call, it affects it. So it is important that we come together and go through the process and eliminate this. There may be casualties. We don't know what is going to happen to Kwesi or what is going to happen to the lady, But whatever it is, I am of the view that both political parties should sit down, support lawyer Asare, Kwekwaza, to make sure that this thing go through, so that we will see if something is a problem, then it calls on us to do something about it, right?
Right.
And we don't know who else is going to fall a victim to it. And I personally don't believe that a Ghanaian that has taken up a citizenship in America, UK, or anywhere is un-Ghanaian than the Ghanaian in Ghana. But that is the current position of the law, and we need to do something about it.
I think they are even more Ghanaian, right? Because if you look at all the contributions they make in...
They want our money, but they don't want our contribution in some other areas, and that's unfair.
Exactly. Okay, let me bring... Ato is on the way, but let me bring Dr. Okay, I don't know how long Ato will stay with us before he goes again, so let me pick him up quickly. Ato, I know you're driving, but on this particular issue, do you have any take on whether you support the law, whether the law is about ineffective expired should be gotten rid of and etc., so that Ghanaians who perhaps have gone, learn skills, develop their capacities overseas and able to participate in our parliament and develop the country by passing good, better laws and doing all the great due diligence that seem to not be happening now on projects and awards that will be given. Do you think they should be prevented from parliaments because perhaps they may have picked up allegiance or citizenship of another country? And if not, do you think we should repeal the law and make it so that we can all participate in building our country?
So, like I said last time, the law is the law until it is changed. So
Right.
until the law is changed, it is what it is. But I'm happy that the likes of Dr. Lawyer Azar is taking this up, and when it's changed, then we can alter it. But as of right now, I cannot be a citizen of the state and then go back home and contest. I mean,
Right.
I don't think it's fair to other people too. But I only came for one reason. I returned for one reason. I heard Dr. Lawrence's comments, and I
Right.
felt like I have to say something about it. I mean, this show is the Ghana agenda. We have a lot of listeners from both parties or from all walks of life. And I think we are doing our viewers and listeners a disservice if we come up and call them dumb or insane. I mean, I don't know why anybody would over here with the motivation just because you disagree with me or if I would just say that if you think excuse my language, stupid or dumb, you should just say it. I guess we can be to disagree, but I'm pleading with him that because of our viewers, he should just tone down, not double down on comments like that. Otherwise, then it affects our viewership because we have discerning people, we have academician listeners, and I came to join the show just because of Alfred, the way you have exhibited yourself as a professional, somebody who's very knowledgeable and very fair. So I feel like it's not to the good of our listeners, our viewers.
Right.
In just coming up over here, just about the love of Ghana. We all love Ghana,
Right.
but there's no point in being political and then going ahead to insult your co-panelists. I have never heard this before. This is America.
Right.
This is 21st century. Let's move beyond the pettiness and go on. So thank you very much
All right.
for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks for those words again. I'm sure Dr. Lawrence heard you loud and clear. So, Dr. Lawrence, I'm going to bring you back in. I know everybody's on you for using those words on Baovia and co, but the understanding is we can make these arguments without. But I understand your point too, that if their policies seem to be an insult to you, then you have no choice. But again, we know there are so many intellectuals, discerning people listening, so maybe we should tone that on that. That's what
No,
I always say.
Alfred,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You see, people have not understood me, and people have not understood the way I present my case. I have already said, if you don't want me to insult you, don't first insult my intelligence. That is what I've said. And I've told you guys that I am not a fool to come here and just be insulting. I don't insult because everything coming out of my mouth is insult. I don't do that. I am also an intelligent young man. You see?
Yeah.
Now, backstage, we were talking about people in government. And I happen to, people who are doing things like education and stuff like that and sending their children, taking their children out of Christian education and send them to UK and US and other places. And Kakape was asking me if Gabi Ochedakun is in government. Is this question not an insult to me? Don't you see that? If somebody in government, hasn't the person insulted you? It means you don't know what Gabi Ochedakun is doing in the government. It means you don't know what Gabi Ochedakun is doing in Ghana.
But that was in the back. That one is not.
No, it's
not
in the back. But these
nobody's
are some
seen
of
that.
the examples I am talking about.
Right.
When John Mahama was there, we all know how they tagged Ibrahim Mahama as a member in government.
Right.
and said everything about Ibrahim Mahama. And because of Ibrahim Mahama, they called John Mahama's government friends and family government.
Right.
And now Gabriel Tidakun is doing everything in this government. He travels with Nana Akufo-Addo, the president, to anywhere he goes.
Right.
And you are asking me if Gabriel Tidakun is in government. Is that not an insult to my intelligence? That I don't know that Gabriel Tidakun is traveling with the president to anywhere he goes? Is Gabriel Tidakun in government that he should be traveling with the government?
Yeah, but they say you can talk about that without saying somebody's an idiot or somebody's dumb or stuff like that.
And you see, I'm so surprised and disappointed in Dr. Atto making reference to this idiot and this stupid thing, because I use it as an example.
Right.
I didn't say anybody on this platform and any of my list of the listeners are idiots or stupid or whatever. I was using it as an example. And I said it, and I came back and made myself clear that I don't insult unless you try to first insult me. And this is exactly what Kakape is doing right now, asking me if Gabriel Tidakun is in government. When you guys knew Ibrahim Mahama was not in government, but you forced Ghanaians to believe that Ibrahim Mahama was in government. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. we got that.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. I mean, on this allegiance matter, you were saying the highest court has ruled on it. I haven't heard about it because I know the NDC was in court to seek clarification on when somebody renounces his or her allegiance to a country. And I haven't heard that the Supreme Court has ruled on that.
No, I didn't say Supreme Court. I said the High Court.
Oh, the High Court. Okay, sorry about that. I thought you said I heard the highest court. That's what I'm saying. I heard the highest court. So I think some few weeks ago when I was on this program, it came up for discussion, and I will still go back to the same thing that I said the other day, that this matter is at the Supreme Court. We don't know what the Supreme Court is going to say about it, because you mentioned stages into which somebody would become a member of parliament. The fact that you pick, and I stated the other day that the fact that you pick a form doesn't mean you are a member of parliament.
Right.
The fact that you go for vetting does not mean you are a member of parliament. The fact that the EC has cleared you to contest for the elections does not make you a member of parliament. The fact that you have even been voted for to be a member of parliament does not mean you are a member of parliament.
What I like about that is somebody could have gone to contest but lost the election, and that person would have an allegiance to another country. And I've never seen any such cases.
Yeah.
If we want to apply this law, it shouldn't be only for those people who perhaps won the election. And that's what we've seen all the time. It is those who won the election that we actually take to court and challenge
see,
them.
when they win the elections, they become bitter to the losing party. So they would want to find a way to get rid of you. I mean, some even go all the way to even killing you, you know. So Ghana democracy and Ghana elections has become very dangerous. So and like I said, the fact that you have even won the elections to become the member of parliament does not make you a member of parliament. It is when you are sworn in as a member of parliament that you have become a member of parliament. And this question case, you know, stretches across all those levels until he was sworn in to become a member of parliament. So the NDC is in parliament the NDC is at the Supreme Court to seek clarification as to when this allegiance to a country stops, when you either when you pick a form, or when you receive a response from the country, or when you receive the actual certification from the country that you are no more, or you don't have any allegiance to the country, that you cease to have an allegiance to the country. But the difficulty I have with this Supreme Court is that they are very unpredictable. You know,
Right.
when you think, I mean, when you think that this is how the case is going to go, then they swerve it. And I'm using this Ghana birth certificate as an example. You know,
Right.
everybody knew in the whole world, as far as I know, that when you have a birth certificate, that tells anybody that you are from that country, you are a citizen of that country. But it is only the Ghana Supreme Court who disagreed with that the fact that you have a Ghana birth certificate doesn't make you a Ghanaian. You know, so let us wait for what they will say, because they are very unpredictable, and sometimes I mean, I'm on TV, so I don't want to say that, but you can see that sometimes they are what do they call it? Their
They're
verdict,
unpredictable.
yeah, their verdict has some political tones around it, but well, you can't say that because they are the Supreme Court, and you don't want to be called to the Supreme Court for contempt. So you just have
Right.
to leave it like that. But I think we this is a matter of very importance. Like we said, we send about 3.5 billion cedis to Ghana every year, and that is huge to a country like Ghana with that small economy, you know. But you don't know what the Supreme Court would say about this. But I hope that the interpretation by the Supreme Court will be very clear this time, for everybody to understand that allegiance stops from this point, and that whenever the verdict comes and it's like that, all the parties will agree, so Ghana will move on as a country.
All right, great. Those are wonderful submissions there. I'm so grateful for that. Let's go to Lifetime Legacy. Lifetime Legacy, you are the one standing between us and the close of the program. So I'd like to take your submission, and then we go to give our final thoughts.
Yeah,
what do you on this 94 Article 94 issue? Do you support an amendment to the Constitution on this ground? And what is, in your assessment, do you think the whole process should begin? The eligibility, is it when you're about to be sworn in, like we discussed, or when you pick up the form?
Yeah, as somebody who have contested election before, both within the political party and also external. What I mean by external is I've contested for an assembly position before.
Right.
And then contest election within my party. And I know as part of the form, the question of dual citizenship is asked, where you need to state your position on the form, either you are having dual citizen or not. But as and when allegiance is questioned, that one, let's wait to the court decide on this issue. But from where I sit, looking at the way Mr. Kwesi's issue is, I think the Electoral Commission that knows the law and who implements the law clear the man. And I know he explained all these circumstances to them before he was cleared. So all that I would say is that the government of the day, I pray that they are not behind what is going on because of the equal numbers we have in parliament. Some of us saw this for coming this and other ways and means to prevent the number from to reduce the number from the current state we have it now. But this is a law that can affect anybody, any person living in Ghana who is having a dual citizenship.
Right.
In Professor Asare's efforts to get this law repealed from our constitution, I am fully support, because you and I will one day be willing to serve our country in a capacity that we can. And the only way we can do so is to have this law repealed. Other than that, the knowledge and experiences we have acquired all these years will become nothing beneficial to our country if this law continue to be in our law books. There is one thing I also I think we should all be praying towards, the fight Professor Asare is putting out there.
Right.
I pray that our politicians in Ghana will not see their fellow citizens outside the country as a threat, where it will be like when this law is taken off, then they will be rocking shoulder with them. And when it comes to that aspect, they might perceive you are more resourceful in terms of context than them. I pray that they don't use that lens to look at it in that regard, and look at it that we are all citizens of Ghana, and we have acquired a lot of knowledge. People are willing to serve their country genuinely. One thing I have also noticed is that no matter how you've acquired a different citizen status, you are still a Ghanaian, and the Ghanaianness is remaining in you.
Right.
There's no a Ghanaian who have dual citizenship will talk without making references to his origin.
Right.
So that in that regard, I pray that our parliamentarians will look at it in that regard, looking at the contribution, but they will rather not look at it as a threat to the contest. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, because
I think we made your point. So in other words, they would think it would be an unfair competition for people from overseas with more resources.
Absolutely. So I pray that they don't look at it in that regard, and look at it that we are all citizens and equally deserve that opportunity. But if it happens that they look at it like I'm expressing now, and I don't think they will support the repealing of that law, like the way you and I are praying that it come to pass. So let us all of us pray and support Professor Asare, and also pray that our fellow citizens who are in Parliament will see the wisdom in repealing this law, but they will not look at it as a threat from us. Let me put it that way.
All right. So, Lifetime, since you're on, give us your last word on today's program, what you've learned, if anything, the discussions, and if there are any last minute things that you've probably forgot to present in any of your submission on any of the three topics we discussed today, and then we'll bring the program to an end.
Yeah, for me, like I stated earlier, I am in support we having a healthy system in terms of health infrastructure. What I have come to see in my stay in US, it's enviable, and I'll be very happy we have such infrastructure in our country, because you and I have parents, if even our mothers and fathers are even here, we still have aunties and uncles there who at the end of the day also need to be taken care of when they fall ill. So for me, I am for anything that will increase infrastructure as far as health is concerned. But let's make sure the right thing is done. That is what I would say on that. And also on the issue of the Tema Motorway, I still believe Ghanaians are capable of developing their own affair. Ghanaians have the capacity, and for that matter, the only way you can perfect to become an experience is to start to practice. So if the government think that the Ghanaians don't have the knowledge or the expertise, this should be a test case. If there is a law that says that before one is appointed a president or a minister, the person must first have experience, then I don't think anybody in government or in parliament would have qualified. There is always the process of learning in practicing. So I believe that the government should look at it again and use this as a means to develop the local capacity. Ghanaians are capable of doing everything. Most these international companies, when they take the contract, it is Ghanaians who execute them. So the knowledge for me is there. Let's empower our local force to do the project for us.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for that lifetime legacy. At this point, let me bring in Dr. Lawrence to also give us your last words. If any last minute advice or comments you want to leave with the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, yeah. Alfred, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. My last minute comment is that in fact I've written 3 down here. One is that anytime you are bringing myself and Kakape to your show, make it on the flyer that is a 3-hour program. Don't make it 2 hours.
All right, I think that.
Because anytime Kakape and I meet on any show, the host always complain of time is gone, time is gone, time is gone. We've gone past our time, we've gone past our time. Because he can talk and I can also talk. So whenever you are bringing both of us to your show, make it on the flyer that is a 3-hour program.
It's a 3-hour program.
So
okay, I'm taking notes of that.
We can have a good time to spend on this program. And then number 2, I have it has come on the show several times that I insult. And I want to take one of my last minutes comments to say that I don't insult. Dr. Lawrence, I don't insult. And if you think I insult, just stop what you are saying or doing. That will let me insult you. Because you cannot insult my intelligence and I will let it go. And I have given 2 examples right here today. That one, you cannot take your children out of a school because you messed it up and take your children out of that school, send them to US and UK, and then try to convince me that it is better for my children to learn under trees than to stay at home. That is an insult to me. And if you tell me that, I will insult you back because I wouldn't let you insult my intelligence. And then number 2, you cannot tell me or you cannot ask me if Gabriel Tredakun is in government when you and I know he's doing more than anybody in the government. In fact, apart from the president himself and apart from Ken Ofori-Atta, the next person in government, the next person who is doing more than anybody in government is Gabriel Tredakun. He travels with the president to any place the government goes. Not all the ministers do that. And then you come and ask me if Gabriel Tredakun is in government. You are insulting me because you tagged Ibrahim Mahama as somebody in government when you knew he was not a minister of anybody. So if you can tag Ibrahim Mahama as somebody in government and I'm tagging Gabriel Tredakun as somebody in government and you turn around to ask me if Gabi is in government, you are insulting me. And that is what I say. So don't ask me questions that will let me insult you. And then finally, on the agenda 111, I am telling you, if you are listening to me,
I'm listening.
Nana Akufo-Addo went to La General Hospital, went to Koforidua for the Eastern Regional Hospital, went to Shama and personally cut a sword for the commencement of those hospitals. He gathered all the chiefs and people in that area and personally cut a sword for the commencement of those hospitals. Now, the hospitals have not been built 1 year on, over 1 year on. So if you are in a Atebubu district, if you are in Ponguru district, if you are in Hwenhwan district, and Nana Akufo-Addo has not come to your district to cut a sword, but stayed in Trede and symbolically cut a sword and told you that somebody is coming to your district to build you a district hospital, and you believe that, you are going to have a hospital when Nana Akufo-Addo has not come there to cut a sword to build your hospital, then I don't know what kind of Ghanaian you can be, because that can never happen. It's a mirage, it's false, is I don't know how to describe it, but I can tell you on authority that if Nana Akufo-Addo can gather chiefs in Koforidua and the hospital was not built,
Right.
and you think he hasn't come to your district to cut any salt, but expect a district hospital to be built there, please forget it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for that. Let me bring in our final guest here, Mr. Afa, to give us his final words, and then we'll bring today's program to an end. So, Afa, we are in your hands.
Thank you very much. And because it's the final word, I'm not going to say anything that will prompt them to come in, so it will be fine. I totally disagree with Mr. Dr. Lawrence's position on somebody insulting his intelligence. You see, there are a lot of things that politicians will do that, you know, you believe it or not, you may understand, you may not understand. What is his take on Mahama telling us that mobile phones is the cause of doom? So what is his take on Mahama telling us that he wasn't a magician to
I thought you said you're not going to say anything to bring him back.
No. That's why I'm asking it a question. We can do it on another. What you see? So if I say that Mahama is telling me that mobile phone is the cause of doom, so you know, I can have my own opinion on that statement. If Mahama is telling me that he's not a magician to create jobs for the graduates or for the youth to do, and today he's telling us he's going to create it, I can say something on that. If I am here and I know that Mahama has his kids in UK, educating them in UK and Dubai, you know, I can also come here and say that somebody is insulting my intelligence and blah, blah, blah. But I can make my point on these things without bringing in words that are insulting. Absolutely, you can do that. Now, having said that, let's go on to what we've discussed today, you know. So I'll start from the very last. We should do something about the dual citizenship situation in the country. We can have the law in such a way that it can exempt, you know, the first three. I don't have a problem with that. Our key most people, the president, vice president, chief justice, and speaker, because these are people that are acts as president when we are not there. But all the others that have been couched in, I disagree with the current position of the law, but it is not my view that we'll take it off. It is a constitutional provision. When an issue comes with the constitution, we have the court to deal with it. And whatever they say, we take it and then we move on. That is my position on there. And currently, there is a bill to take that off, and we all must support it to take it off. Fortunately, for those of us that are debating this issue now, we've experienced things here. Even as we are here, even if we've picked up citizenship, Ghana is still at the back of our head. We're doing investment. We're sending money to our families. If it is not for love of country, what else is it? So when we have the opportunity to go and serve, then they tell you, you cannot serve. You cannot be a minister. You cannot be. I totally disagree with the court. I totally disagree with the position of the law. But that is what we have now. We should change it. The Tema Motorway redevelopment agenda. Yes, the amount of money, all that the opposition are saying, they are worth looking at. We must take into consideration the contractors and all these people that are going to be involved, and make sure that at the end of the day, we're delivering to the good people of Ghana value for money, building local capacity, and giving us something that will ease and boost the economy and all that. It is important and it is very good. Agenda 111. It is important that, you know, we bring help to the doorsteps of our people. CHIP compound has a limitation to what they can provide. You know, it is important we go to the district hospitals, we do the regional hospitals, we upgrade them, and we improve upon them to a standard. This will revolutionize our health delivery, and it is important that we all support it. Yes, we can. Let's go onto the field and then, you know, bring out the video, just as we did for a Kumfi, you know, and then finally we saw this thing established. We can do that for the same. Let's be optimistic and hopeful, you know, and then deliver to the good people of Ghana. My final word will be the general Ghanaian civil servant approach to duty. We need to revamp our civil service. You know, we need to revamp our civil service. We need to instill in them that when they have had the opportunity, when they are having the opportunity to serve, that it is for the good people of Ghana and it is for their offspring. If you don't do it well, your offspring will be unemployed. Your offspring won't have the opportunity to do, to come and build on whatever we're building on here. So anytime we have the opportunity to serve in government, to serve in civil service in any capacity, let us add onto the existing and improve upon whatever we have. Let us not go there and add on to the corruption, the misappropriation, the infractions and all that kind of stuff as is being reported every year in the Auditor General's report. It is Ghana that we are, if you are making some money out of it, know that it is your generation, it is your children and your children's children whose future you are throwing down the drain. That we must have conscience, we must have this thing and blah, 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 blah. But conscience sometimes also don't come in a vacuum. That our punitive measures, our punitive regime will be revamped, that the Auditor General will surcharge, that the Office of the Special Prosecutor will work, that the Attorney General will, deal with these people so that Ghana will be the beneficiary. I will never sit on any radio and say that Ghana is poor. Ghana is never poor. We need to get rid of some of these things, and then we can get the needed money to do the infrastructure and to do the things we want to do for the country to get to the level that we want to get to. And finally, Ghana Agenda has come to stay. This is a great show. This is a great guy, very informed. He gives us all the information. Sometimes we, the panelists, we don't get it right. Me, I will put myself in that position. But I've been here and I've been on other shows, and I can tell you this is going to be one of the best in the world. So let us all contribute towards making it one of the best in the world. And we'll be enjoying it. We'll be coming on the show with quality delivery, with excellent diction. And at the end of the day, we'll come here and there will be an award somewhere, and they will say, let's go and give it to Ghana Agenda, the #1 show for the diaspora all over the world. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Afar, for this good final words there. We really appreciate you all for coming and joining us today, sharing our links. We've had about almost 150 people watching at some point, and we can be more grateful to that. We've discussed some very important things today. Ghana Agenda 111, which is going to increase the hospital infrastructure, and by so doing, increasing accessibility and delivery of care. And the goal really is so that we can attain our target of universal health care for our people in Ghana. And I think that couldn't be any more than we asked for. We just hope that it will be delivered. There are so many times that, these things come up. Plans as beautiful as we can even see in our national development plans, which get rolled out every 5 years or so. We have the medium-term plans rolling out every 5 years. And so many of the components, very critical things that we have planned that we should be, if we had achieved, would have placed it in a very, good position. As of now, we haven't. Vision 2020 had so many unfulfilled promises in there. So we're hoping that some of these new things that have been placed on our agenda get delivered. As far as Tema Motorway is concerned, yes, of course, we need to empower the Ghanaian entrepreneur to be able to compete. And we can only do so by having confidence in them and giving them the work so that they can learn on the job, they can face challenges within the arena and develop their capacity to compete with other companies. And if in fact we can have Ghanaian companies delivering on all our infrastructure projects, that would be amazing. So it is important that, we set aside some work, especially when it is the ones that we are financing, to Ghanaian companies. On the last issue of Article 94, we hope that this law gets changed quickly and perhaps have some retroactive application to the 2 MPs who are currently going through the court system. As to whether it's going to be done and dusted before those cases are over, I'm not sure. But we're also hoping that perhaps the Supreme Court will make a pronouncement on this and create the opportunity for people who have learned so much and can offer so much to the country, can return and contribute back or contribute to the development of Ghana. Because a lot of this, when I was growing up, one of the things we were mostly worried about was, the brain drain. In other words, a lot of well-educated people leaving the shores of Ghana and going overseas. Now these people want to come back and help. So let's create that atmosphere and an enabling environment for them to be able to properly and fairly help develop our country. With that, I'll say this has been a Ghana Agenda for August 21st. And please send us your comments, share the link. This is, like you heard Efa states, one of the best shows, political shows on TV. Join us, and next week we'll be back to discuss more. We will be taking the week of September 3rd to September 4th off because we'll be doing other programs in support of Sienna. And so with that, I will leave you with the Sienna invitations from my own sister, Mausi. But it's been a great show. I appreciate all of you who tune in to view us. Please like the page so whenever we come, you can be notified. Thanks for joining. This is the Ghana Agenda, and my name is Alfred Amuzu. And thanks to all my panelists and guests as well. All of you had done wonderful, and the contributions make this program a very rich one. I really appreciate you. Bye-bye.
New York na ganya progrado enyo anwa sebe epoya me ba ye na minomyanti emi wa yo nu oba lema le yo te no ate alo me ma yo
nana makwe
ta em yin yo ka progrado ikenya ba gogo magoya kana ni no manchi ogona kana sebe togbe horori ha ba kwa akoga pe na mi ke togbe le ke le gboro
nyasala plan pola abala mi ntomienya ali amie we afwe va yima miega oga nana matutse miega oga fwe aha me ma masha me kana miakpoma na ajashimara ye onyafa vijiji osafagba adwa fagba kwa kafa nana mama ba wona gaji Sienna gavado domia nana make ha vivia afwe aba wona oga miala vivi to nyasa ga miala kabunua mi trami ban lamoro mi ji chidara mi aro pio bona fifia mi atama mi ano chi biara nanya ndudu biara hajiga mi ala dara lojire because wona mi ko jogo mafia manya gbenye nu go kabonua minomo magba nyawe homira mi ba pate o mo pakla hogan mo mi woga wonyasa wo vivi ahododo na mi katanlo
nyasa la klo nu pola September fa nkaka tonia ko yida atolia afayama yemi conventional ko gabe na mi conventional ma concept onyo daka hajila okla hapanya glola oleji hapanya abasa fashi the point afi to bi olokojoko hajila abakini eyes latino jijom amola nwaji tatata kanozi jata haleji afi chotogo ha me have agboti yaw afaya motode awo monoga you
focus
slim cross hajiwaga nyasala planu pola minu poga mo miapa gama yima akplada la kona mamia jontade miawo kabana mia yigaka mi jagbagba afaya fa nkeke asheli
Jinu ashekelia nkokotolia kodida aton mogbasalo
daka we are proud always Azalo
Azase
save the date